Tuesday, January 20th, council meeting. I'd like to start off by the chair asking for a motion to suspend the rules.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Tisdale,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Creel. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes, sir. At some point, when we start to vote for the adding items on the agenda, I do have an item to be added to the agenda.
Okay, that isn't on our list today to add, so the chair is not going to recognize.
I'm not asking the chair to recognize, I'm asking the chair to follow the law.
Okay, the chair will follow the law.
The law very
The chair is going to recognize the item that's listed on the agenda.
We are in discussion, are we not? We are in discussion.
Yes, we are.
Okay, let me read the law. The law says,
Yes, we're
I'm
listening.
getting there. I know you're listening.
Okay.
All matters to be placed on the agenda by any member of the city council shall be authorized by the president of the council as herein. The council, it says shall be, all matters shall be. I submitted this to you, I submitted it to this council. I went through legal, I have legal notes. I've done everything I was supposed to do to get this on the agenda. You decided on your own, as if you were the king, to decide that we can't put something on the agenda.
You're out of order, sir. Don't reference me as the king, please. I won't let you.
There's seven of us up here. Anyone else here decide the same thing? Then you're not a ruling party of one.
I'm just saying.
Second is, the next thing is, sir.
Don't be rude, sir. But try to be professional. Thank you.
I think it's very rude for you to take an item that's supposed to, that the law says I have the right to put on the agenda and not put it on the agenda, and then tell me basically you're going to ignore it and don't recognize it. No, sir, I'm reading the law. Please stop interrupting me. You do not have the right to tell me how my tone should be. That is my right.
I'm presiding over the meeting, and I think I do.
If you're presiding over of this body, as the president of this body, then you need to follow the law of this body. The law says you shall. It says all matters to be placed on the agenda by any council member shall be authorized by the president of the council. Now will be considered, shall be authorized. It also says that the council president shall be required to place all matters presented by a council member as prescribed wherein in the agenda at the earliest possible opportunity. You've had this for over 2 weeks. We've known about this for over 2 weeks. This started last year. It was stated last year it would be placed on the agenda. Coming to the next matter, which you're trying to confuse. It says in all matters, which is two departments. We have two by Constitution. We have an executive branch and we have the legislative branch. You, sir, are over the legislative branch. That man on that table, the mayor, is over the administrative branch. The law goes down to his responsibilities. His responsibility says all matters to be placed on the agenda by any member of the executive branch, which is that table over there, shall be authorized by the mayor as prescribed herein. The mayor is taking the executive branch. We're taking the mayor's the administrator. We're the ones who are making the rules and the laws. Okay? When we're doing this, it says the council president and the mayor shall determine the items to be placed on the agenda for submission to the clerk. It's saying since there are two departments, administrative and executive, the two of you decide based on who you're over. You're not over the administration, but you are determining for the executive. For what we're doing. If you're not going to do that as a representative of our body, as the president of the council, you're doing what he wants you to do. The mayor cannot decide what we put on the council's agenda. If you read this, it says here, it's the council's agenda. It's not the mayor's agenda. This is the mayor's agenda? No, it says agenda for the Biloxi City Council.
All right. Is your point made, sir?
My point is you don't have the right to ignore me. Well, I'm telling you right now, you're breaking the law.
May I respond? I've listened patiently. May I respond? You don't, may I respond? I'm
Of
asking
course
you a
you can,
question.
sir. I need you to respond. I
All
need
right,
you to
thank
explain why you're
Thank
breaking the
you.
law.
If you read the rules also say that, that the president will be provided a draft copy of a resolution or an agenda item. There was a draft copy. There was actually a first draft copy. There was a second draft copy. The rules also say that legal has to have a chance to review it. Legal did review one of the draft copies. They recommended that we have a workshop, and I tend to agree with that because of this affects not just the councilman that is presenting this affects all 7 wards. It seems to me it would be reasonable to first hold a workshop on asking the questions on how we set up 7 different ward accounts and then take revenues that are coming in and collected and how those are going to be spent. There are strings attached because of the contractual complexities of this type of resolution, and it just seems reasonable for a reasonable man to say, let's have a workshop. We may learn something in that workshop, and instead of putting a potentially flawed resolution together, then put the resolution together next, and then bring it to this council and let the council vote on it at that time. And that seems reasonable to me. So I received one copy, then I received another draft copy, and I understand there were conversations with some other council members on a third or fourth copy that was being considered, and then it was, we fell back to what you're trying to put on today, when legal has said this should, or this action should require a workshop. So that's what I'm trying to achieve today, presiding over this meeting. So I appreciate the conversation. The chair will recognize the item that's listed on our agenda for today.
Sir,
That's it.
You made a lot of statements. I need to respond.
That's it.
I need to respond, sir. Are you okay?
That's it.
I'm the only one that's allowed to speak?
I have a comment.
That's it. Would the clerk read the addition?
We're still in discussion.
Oh, go ahead, by
Okay.
all means.
Sure, so,
Chair will recognize Mr. Tisdale.
thank you. So there's a timeline. It's procedural. There's a procedural aspect to this in terms of getting something on the agenda. It can be interpreted a number of different ways, I think. It'd be great if it was a little clearer. But basically, there's a procedure to be followed, and at some point, it goes to legal, Mr. Abide, and he reviews it, and then it's placed on the agenda. I don't know that he may suggest that maybe there's a workshop, but the fact is, if there's a resolution that originates with one of us and it goes through legal, he looks at it, he may make a suggestion or not, but it's the councilman's resolution. Having said that, Mr. Abad, that's procedural in nature, was the procedure followed in this instance to the best of your knowledge? And then I'd like Mr. Marshall to also explain, to kind of see if there was an issue that wasn't resolved where this happened, or.
Sure.
Thank you.
I guess maybe a week or so ago, I got a draft of a resolution. I made some comments on it about not binding future councilmen. Given the nature that we're in the middle of a budget year, the amount of bookkeeping and accounting that would be required, and like you say, with strings attached, it seemed to me that a workshop would be prudent. I submitted that. I never got anything back officially until 11 o'clock today with this version. I've not really reviewed my notes from this to see what the changes are. I did spend a little time during lunch to look over the the ordinances about the council's agenda and the procedures. Mr. Marshall is stating from section 3.23 about the president shall place all matters presented by a councilman as prescribed herein on the agenda. So then you get to what is prescribed herein. There's several other sections dealing with how the agenda is put together. The agenda is, it talks about there's several parts of agenda. We all know about the policy agenda and the consent agenda. There's also in 3.22 talks about the study agenda. I'm not sure we've ever really done the study agenda here that much. We've directed the Planning Commission to do things from time to time. One of the things under the study agenda, which is at the end of the meeting, and it talks about it will consist of all motions for staff and legal review and study of drafts of legislation submitted to the President of the Council as provided in 3.25. We look at 3.25, and that's a request for legislative action. If any member of the City Council wants to place a matter on the agenda, they will provide a draft of his request for legislative action during the submission phase of the agenda. Submission phase is back on Thursday. That's defined as back before the agenda is set. So there was a draft submitted some weeks ago, but I don't know if it was submitted during the submission phase. This draft was not. But we're looking at 3.25, which is referenced in the study agenda. And it states, if a member wants to place a matter on the agenda, they'll put a draft to the council president during the submission phase. I stated that. The council will take no official action on any matter requested by the individual councilman until such time as staff or legal review has been made. That'll be completed quickly as possible. Upon approval, it will be placed by the president of the council on the agenda for official action. And it's not totally clear where it goes on the agenda, but given the fact that the study agenda talks about this same section, I would submit that a fair reading of all of this together is that once we have a draft of the legislation, then it would go to the council as a whole for this study agenda, which is probably the same thing as a workshop. So although I didn't really tune into the study agenda a week or so ago when I suggested workshop, that was probably in the same ballpark. So I don't know if I really answered the question. I will say that this is it's a major piece of legislation. It is legislation submitted by the council. If we're going to set up 7 different paving or working type accounts for each councilman, that needs to be analyzed, the ramifications of that. How we're going to then procure each individual project from each of the 7 wards. There's just a lot of issues, but the issue of whether this draft submitted an hour or 2 ago is proper. It may be proper to put on the study agenda, but I don't know if it's proper to put on the policy agenda.
So if I may, if this were in order to be placed on next week's agenda, whatever Mr. Marshall's legislation is, or his resolution, that would have to be in your hands and in the council president's hands no later than Thursday of this week at 11 a.m., correct?
That's right. Under the submission phase, it begins at the opening of business on Wednesday. It ends at 11 o'clock a.m. the following Thursday.
Okay, that's fine. And how many copies of Mr. Marshall's resolution did you see? Or were they dated, and what was the date of the last one you saw?
I just saw what heard was the first draft, and I've never seen any drafts since then.
All right, so as far as you know, there was one draft earlier, and then this second draft you got today?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, a third draft, but he only saw 2 of the 3.
Okay, and if Mr. Marshall could comment perhaps on,
Based on what you just said, every week that we come here, we find things that's on this agenda that's been substituted every week. Every council session, anybody can go back and look and see. Now, what we have here is a situation where this is something that the mayor is not happy with. He is convinced our president, who's supposed to be representing us,
Mr. Marshall, you
Hey,
don't
no, you
you
don't
don't
interrupt
know.
me, sir.
I'm going to stop you
if you
there.
don't like what I'm saying,
You're
that's
making a
fine, but I have
statement
the
that
right.
somebody convinced me. You don't know what somebody has convinced me of. So do not make those statements if that's just your.
Let me put it out like this, sir.
Well, I'm putting it out like it is.
put it like it is.
I wouldn't, if I think somebody put something in your brain, I'm not going to make that statement.
Mr. Glavin, I followed all the rules. This has been going on since last year. This was tabled last year.
Okay.
Okay? This right here was tabled. So we're not bringing up anything that's new. Okay? If anybody had any reviews other than that, that was a good time to do it then.
Then bring it off the table, Mr. Marshall. If it's tabled, bring it off the table. Show me that table motion and request that that table motion be brought off the table. That is not what you're doing today or attempting to do today.
So you want a table motion to bring it off the table?
If we tabled this, which I don't recall us
We tabled
tabling
it.
this, but what I would recommend is what legal has suggested, that we have a workshop and that we intelligently look at it with the administration and with people that are going to be responsible for putting these contracts together. Then, after we get that information, put your resolution together and submit it.
We're not asking anybody to put any contracts together. No one is asking anyone.
You're correct, but they have
No,
input
no.
on how this may affect that.
That is way down the line. What you're doing is you're trying to confuse the situation, just like the lawyer just said, you're trying to confuse everything. We're not asking for any of that. We're only establishing accounts for the funds. That's all we're doing. We're not trying to spend any money. We're not voting to spend any money. All that has to come back to the council. All we're asking, and this was tabled. Now, if you would give me time, I would make sure the clerk find out the last meeting when this was tabled, or I would find it, and we can come back to it. So can we do that?
After this meeting is concluded, you can request that the clerk find that.
No, I want to do
It's
it now.
tabled. We didn't put it on the agenda. It's tabled. So if you want her to go research it, find the resolution that you're saying was tabled, then you can request, if that's appropriate, to bring it back. All right. Any other discussion on this matter?
Yes, sir, I'm still
All right.
discussing it.
All right.
Okay, the law is very clear. Okay, what we're doing here is we're making special rules, throwing extra hoops to jump through because the mayor doesn't like something. Okay, we've never ever did this for any of the other things. Every week we have a whole lot. Even today, we didn't see this. This is being corrected. We have agenda things that are added every week. Without having to go through the lawyers, without having to go through all these procedures, 2 weeks notice, all of a sudden we got all these time frames. That's wrong. I'm saying that it feels to me that you're not representing this council. You're only rep to me. Now you can't tell me what I'm not putting anything in your head. You're supposed to you're the president of the council. And you're supposed to represent the council to get what we as council members want on the agenda.
Okay, noted. I think I've made that clear. Workshop, resolution, vote on it. I don't know why we want to bypass something that affects millions of dollars and that it could be complex and that we want to put a hastily, we've admitted that he's seen 2 of the 3 drafts have been put together, and he said he read from the law itself just as you cherry-picked and read some of it yourself over there. So we're going to move on.
Wait a minute, I want to get clear. You understand what I'm saying? I'd like to get clear what you just said. If it involves millions of dollars, then we have the right, we can't bring it up.
All right. Would the clerk read the substitution.
Need to vote on the order. Penny, we need to vote to suspend the rules.
We did.
No, you didn't do your hands.
Yes, we did. Didn't we vote to suspend the rules?
I made the motion to suspend.
Y'all motioned in second, but you didn't vote.
Oh, we were in discussion? All right, all in favor of suspending the rules? Those opposed?
Mark me
Motion
down.
carries
You changed my vote to oppose.
5-2. Tisdale, Marshall against. All right. The clerk would read the substitution.
To the policy agenda, we're substituting item 4K, resolution designating 7 trees as a majestic tree for 1029 Howard Avenue.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Creel. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Shoemaker. Any discussion? All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carry. Did you get the opposition? Okay.
5-2.
All right, mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a High Sheriff Matt Haley's back in the corner there. Happy to have you here. Ms. Hunt, she's here, ready to talk about anything, Susan. You got bread and everything? We got somebody in plain clothes, too. Where is he? Retired Chief of Police. There you go, Chief. Good to have you here. Thank you. I forgot about what I was going to report on. But happy Mardi Gras to everyone. I think we had a couple of 10-year pins, but we'll wait till they come in person. But we do pass out, I think Councilman Tisdale wanted to look at a first quarter report, and I think that's in printed form on your desk. You have it, and it gives us where we are, FY26 to date, 3 months into the year, three periods, and it compares it, these two columns, compares it to where we are 3 months into the year 2025. It's straightforward. I think Councilman Tisdale asked for a little breakdown by the different departments, by the different services, classes of services. And if you have any questions, I think I'll be happy to answer them, and Diana's here also at this point in time.
Sure, my request was, and my understanding was this was going to be presented on the 27th, is my understanding. I thought it would be on the agenda. I don't have any questions prepared, but I do have some questions. I don't have them with me today.
On the 27th? Okay.
On the 27th, which will be next Tuesday.
If you have some questions
It
prior
would
to
help
that.
us today. It's a lengthy agenda as well,
Yeah.
but the 27th would be terrific if Ms. Thornton can be here then.
These numbers won't change, but it gives you a percentage of where we are. We're 25% into the budget year, period 3. So you look at those columns, it will answer you some questions, I think, pretty easily. And we can talk about that at the next time.
Sure, no, that's fine. So if she would be under the mayor's report at our next council meeting, I'm trying to get this in before Thursday at 11 a.m.
Well, and then too, if you have some specific questions, that we'd be sure to include in this. But this is, again, a recap of where we are with the period.
Sure.
Period 3 closed, and we're in the middle of period 4. And again, the percentages kind of tell the tale. If we're above or below where we should be, 25% against the budget, that's pretty easily understood here.
Sure, no, I appreciate the effort that went into this. I just thought it would be next Tuesday, so if we can do that then, that'd be
right.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
That it? Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Gray.
Yeah, I want to thank Parks and Recs for getting the walkway done at the Claire Hornsby Park. It looks very nice. And like I said, we'll try to get a crew together, do some pressure washing out there. Jamie, can I ask you a question real quick? Can you give us your structure of the way your department is designed? Who's under you? How does that work?
Of course, you have the director, then underneath you have superintendents, which report to the director. You have different superintendents of each division. Currently, right now, we have a beautification superintendent, who's in charge of multiple different things, whether it be logistics, cleanups, cutting grass when the time is there. Then on the other end, we have a park superintendent, which is responsible for maintaining ball fields, small maintenance, of course, running the tournaments, as well as cutting some grass throughout the city as well.
Okay, and you was an assistant director, correct?
Correct. Well, I've been through the process, starting off, through the aquatics program, working up through that, then eventually becoming a recreation superintendent, then an aquatics coordinator, then the assistant director, then ultimately the director.
So you have not named assistant director yet?
No, sir.
To help you out through your day-to-day operations?
No, sir. And just having the conversation with Director Weaver and everything, what I feel that we really need in the department is more middle managers, more superintendents that can, lead the different divisions. Then if the time comes for an assistant, possibly looking for one when the time is right for that. And that's just my professional opinion.
Right, so your superintendents or your supervisors are stepping up, helping you do everything that you need?
Well, of course. I mean, we always need more people, but we're doing the best we can. The superintendents, supervisors, managers, all of the employees have stepped up to do, what is asked of them, what is required of them. But, just like any other department in the city, yeah, we need the manpower. We need the laborers. We need the grass cutters. We're excited about the challenges that we're faced with and coming up, but we do need people to fill those seats, to fill, to operate the weed eaters, to operate the lawn mowers, to work at the pools, to run the programs.
Right. I'm just seeing how your department was structured. I know you're missing a few, like assistant director and.
Sure.
And it's hard for you to do the day-to-day operations, I mean, how many parks do you have that you have to take care of?
50 plus.
50 plus. So it's kind of hard to get around and get everything done by yourself. So I'm just seeing what you need. That's all.
And I mean, I've been involved in the department for a long time. We all know that. But, I've only been in charge of it since October, so I'm still learning my way through it as well to try to figure out, what the best option is for who we have, where we want to go, working with the mayor, working with Rick, working with you guys, on your needs as well. Right. So, I mean, an assistant, yeah, maybe that is the right course, but superintendents is kind of my thought right now from my feeling, my professional opinion on the direction that this department needs to go initially. That way, I can focus on managing superintendents. Superintendents can focus on managing staff underneath them, and then hopefully, we can all achieve the common objective, with the city.
Right. I appreciate y'all getting a sign for O'Reilly Park. Looks nice.
Right.
I know you still have a whole lot more parks
We
to get
do,
signs for.
and that was the prototype that we wanted to put up. The mayor come up with, looking at the design and everything. We wanted to get it up, and then now we're going to start focusing on the high need areas of where we need those signs and figure out how we're going to get them, whether it's in-house, whether it's outsourcing, maybe a little bit of both. But just, we want to make sure that we keep the brand of the sign, that way it's consistent throughout the city. And I know that's something the mayor wanted to do as well with them.
Right. Now, me and Mike now rode around looking at all the parks and, riding around looking. I know it's on O'Reilly's. I mean, I don't know. I know you got people go around looking. I know some of the fascia was starting to get real bad. It's going to be, yeah, that's going to be.
On the covered pavilion,
Yeah.
right there by the workout equipment?
Right. And that's why I'm, was wondering how you're structured, if you had somebody go around looking at stuff like this, trying to figure out what we need before it falls down and, when it's too late.
For sure.
Easier to fix a board now than the whole building
We
later.
do, but we do have a lot of areas that we are responsible for, as I said earlier. So, we do rely on the public to report it as well, or you guys, or, whoever sees it. That way we can get it on the list and come up with a plan for it to get it repaired.
So is this something that they can call the B Connect, Rick,
Yeah.
and do this also?
For sure.
With trash pickup and stuff?
Yeah, anything can be relayed to the B Connect. That way, it'll get to us through City Works, email, phone call, all of the above. So, we would recommend to do that. That way there is a paper trail. It allows me to see it as well as, dispatch it to the right people that we need to have it done. And that way I can confirm, when it has been completed as well. I can look back and say, oh, this is closed out. Then, I can go look at it and see how it was done and close that project out.
Right.
Let me clarify, is making certain that non-emergency calls go to B Connect. All emergency calls still 911, sir. So I don't want anybody calling B Connect on something else.
Well, B Connect was designed for trash pickup and things like this.
For sure.
Yeah, so, yeah, don't call a B Connect if you need a police department or fire department.
Right.
That's all I have for you, Jamie. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Labata, I have been getting a lot of calls. Is there any way we can look at maybe trying to fix some of the stuff on Rodenberg? Maybe put a riser on that manhole that's sinking a little bit, something?
Well, it's not the riser, it's the pipes underneath. I mean, it's too big of a job for us to do in-house.
Right.
I mean, we could do, it's not that we couldn't do that type of work, but it just takes them away from everything else. It's the same crew that does grass cutting. Right now, they're doing Mardi Gras. We could do it, but all those other things would have to wait until we have funding. It's a pretty major work. It's going to take some time.
Right.
Take a lot of time for our in-house crews to do. If we, just getting funding to get it done is really the
Right.
best route.
Well, I
We have
walked
that.
into a business Saturday, and a couple other business owners was there, and, they're just thinking that if they can get Rodenberg fixed, that some of the traffic may flow, since they don't like going down Iberville because they can't get out. That is the next
Yeah.
thing they can hopefully draw business instead of people going down the road, down the Veterans.
Yeah,
So-
I agree. It's in bad shape. It needs to be fixed, and it's on our list of potential projects, that we, on our repair place and all that, but it's a little big for us to do in-house, and hopefully we can line up some funding soon.
Right. Or are you still working on trying to get a price cost, so we know kind of what we're looking at?
Yeah, yes, I have one, and let me I would get that to you, and I didn't.
And to be fair, can you give us a structure of your department? So Jamie don't think I'm picking on him?
Yeah, absolutely, basically, it's the same.
That way we all kind of know how everything works in your department.
Sure. There's me, and then I have, on one side, I have the engineers and my construction managers that handle all of our major capital projects, anything that go out to bid, any big things that we get quotes like roofs and HVAC. And then on the other side, I have superintendents, and I have a streets and drainage superintendent, and then I have a water sewer superintendent, and they all fall underneath that.
Okay.
The supervisors under there, and then laborers below that.
Right, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next thing, trip to Jackson for the MML. It was a very positive. We met with a lot of the legislators, and they was happy to see some of Biloxi's council up there. They got to talk to a lot of people and meet them. So it was really, really positive for us to get up there and show our faces. So we're looking forward to when they come down here. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marshall?
Come back to me.
Mr. Nail?
Jamie, on parks, I want to ask you a few things about Hiller Park. When you say you got people under you looking at things, they look. I talked to you the other day about the bathroom on the porta potty. The doors broke.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't it be like a simple phone call to tell them to come get this one out of here, put a brand new one in?
Yes, sir. I guess it would be. I reported it as soon as it came across my desk to the company that we lease or rent them from, and she said that the repair ticket has been put in. I'm kind of shocked probably as you are that it hadn't been repaired yet, just due to the fact that it's not able to be used right now. I was going to give them maybe through the end of the day today or tomorrow morning, check it out, and if it's still not repaired, I'm going to call them and say, ask what is going on with this. We need to get it fixed because, I saw there was it was like a piece of monofilament string tied to it this morning, I guess, so you could hold the door shut. And I mean, we do a lot of business with this company with all of our portalets, so seems like something that they would hopefully jump on.
Yeah, tell them we don't want to get it fixed. We want a
Brand new one.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
okay. And then, and about the poles that's going up with the chains to them, nothing's been done about them yet.
Right, we're still looking at options on what we want to do with those, and that's a conversation that I do want to have with Rick and the mayor as well, as some other alternatives that we, do, maybe even do a little background. Was it just done for aesthetics? Was it done for a certain reason? Why were they put there initially? Was it to keep people from parking there? If that's the case, maybe we go back with, some signs or something different that just says no parking on the grass. Was it there as a barrier to keep people from driving off of the road onto the sidewalk where people walk? So there's still just some unknown questions that we want to get answered before we do that. But we have found some alternative uses for them if we go that route.
Okay,
that we
good.
can use them in places where they will benefit, possibly out at the sports complex, to keep people from parking next to the water mains, things like that we're looking at possibly utilizing them for if able.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And in the Broadwater Golf Course, I went out there yesterday and took some pictures. Homeless people are back. And I talked to Lewis yesterday on the phone, and he said that it's more of a police matter now to keep them off of there. Is that true?
So we do have a trespassing letter signed on it, but on public property, it's still incumbent on the property owner. But we do go out there. Just last week, they identified 5 camps, and they're still working on identifying more. Some of those people they were able to contact at the time, but they're still, each day, they're trying to track them down and tell them they can't be there or arresting them on site.
Okay. Yeah, they had a fire going out there this morning. So I guess it was a little cold for them, but you could see the smoke.
Yes, sir.
All right, but anyway, do you think if we wrote these people up and cleaned it up, it'd help y'all out?
Are you talking about the owner?
Yeah. I know it's in a little twisted right now, but
That would probably be a question for Mr. Creel, but we have been working with Mr. Creel's office along with the owner. Of course, you know what happened here recently with
Mr. Poor.
Mr. Poor, but we are working on it daily, trying to identify the new people. We did have to pull some of the people from our pod squad, what we call them, to put back on the road. Well, they should be going back here shortly once other people come off training. But that's one of the things we knew we'd see is a little increase. But we're working on it daily to try to bring it back down and move forward from where we were.
All right, thank you. And I just want to remind everybody of my award meeting, the 26th on Monday. Everybody can come, complain about anything. We'll have people there to answer the questions. All right, thank you. That's my report.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nail. Mr. Creel.
Hey, Mike, can they come and compliment you too?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just checking. I was first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to the mayor, Rick, and Ms. Labata for your departmental reports at the last meeting. The specific questions, and I think throughout the whole conversation, we were able to get some answers and get some timelines that was presented. I appreciate the detailed presentation. It was well noted, and I look forward to pursuing that avenue on some future projects, just looking at the attention to detail that you and your staff did. So thank you for that. I certainly appreciate it. Just any update on the Be Alert? I know we were looking at a new company. It is.
Yes, sir. We had a meeting the other day with Shane and myself and several others. And so we're taking a look at that, and we're going to discuss this week. I think we have a meeting, Shane, with the mayor, and then we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
And so I may be coming to you to try to move some money around some way to kind of change it up on this particular company. But I think you'll be real pleased, and I think it will address some of the conversation topics that you and I have had, especially at the late night, be able to address some of those things. So we're going to be briefing the mayor on that, and then we'll come back to you within the next 2-3 weeks.
No, that works out. It's just, the volatility of the Prostrate Bridge, it's instrumental for both sides of the bridge to know if that thing's down or up, or more importantly. So, Beautification Commission tomorrow meeting is at 11 a.m., open to the public. Just some positive notes on the progress that this commission's done in the short time that they've been in place. Dealing with the county, we've talked to Supervisor Dan Cuevas along with the Sand Beach Authority, Trey, and with Bobby Trosclair, looking at doing a rechristening of the area down with the Fred Hayes area. I know that the county's doing some work down there with rebuilding the foundation of that walkway, and they're going to be doing some spillage work there as well. So coordinate with the commissions, coordinate with the county and their beautification commission as well to have something, it'll be let's see, April 11th will be the 54th anniversary of Apollo 13 liftoff. So, Fred Hayes, one of, I would say, Biloxi's most famous resident, and it's part of the nation's 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. So what they're going to try to do, they've met with the artist that did the moonwalk that's down there. She's went and looked at it and gave them a timeline of what they need for her to come in and rehab the moonwalk, and then having a rechristening of that area down there. So stay tuned with that. The commission, I can't say enough about them. And I know I say it every single time, but these are people that are volunteering with no authority and no money, and they're giving up their time and sitting here twice a month, and that's just here, but they're out there working on the streets with other projects as well. So I just wanted to share some of the positive things. I shared the minutes with the councilman. You'll have the minutes from last meeting and then the agenda for tomorrow's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Creel. Mr. Tisdale.
Yes, two things. Is there an update on the Keegan Bayou project? I think things are starting to happen out there. Just, Christie, Reader's Digest version, what we're trying to accomplish, roughly a timeline and...
So we're dredging out the bayou all the way from Division Street, all the way to the mouth of the bayou, mainly to help with the drainage that happens at Division Street. Basically the bayou is almost completely filled in at that point. It backs water up all the way up onto Keesler, actually. It causes pretty significant flooding in that area. So that was the intent of the project. They have started. They just showed up. You'll see the barge at the mouth of the river. They're going to dredge out the mouth of the river and then head up to just so that make sure that anything that comes as they're working, they're going to stir up sediment, so they want that to be able to flow out. And then they'll move up to Division Street, and then they're going to start there and work their way all the way back down. I can't remember the time frame off the top of my head, but it may be probably maybe 6 months, but I'll have to double check and make sure.
2.53 million into the first.
Yeah, it's about $2 million.
Is there an over or under on how many washers and dryers we're going to find in the...
Be very interesting. That bayou has never been dredged since after Katrina, so there's no telling what they're going to find in there. There's a lot of trash back up in there.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. The only other thing is Pine Grove Avenue on the Coliseum's west parking lot. There's a gate at the north end of Pine Grove Avenue that the Coliseum opens up to let traffic out. And usually that's after a concert, 99% of the time. Anywhere from 11:30 to 12:30. Traffic becomes a real issue for the residents because with all the noise and the honking, and there are two ways in and out of that neighborhood, and one of those is closed now on Briarfield for infrastructure. So this was a real issue, and it's been going on for years. Is there any reason why we cannot obstruct that west gate? The gate is their property, then there's a sidewalk. little fire hydrant on the corner, and then you have the curb and Pine Grove. Is there any reason we couldn't take, Jamie, for those little posts and chains, or maybe something, maybe move them right there to prevent those gates from opening? And just very quickly, a couple of other things related to that neighborhood. Mesa and Orleans, you have traffic coming in and out of there. It's used as a shortcut. They just blow right through the stop signs. They litter, the residents litter everywhere along that strip of Mercury Lane, which is maybe 3 times the length of this room. So if you're a resident in that neighborhood, you're constantly having to look at the litter, listen to the traffic and the noise. And would the Pops Ferry extension with the ingress and egress to the Coliseum property, could then that west gate be closed entirely? Because if so, maybe by the end of December or January, then this issue would go away. But in the meantime, no telling how many concerts we have dumping traffic in that neighborhood at 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock at night.
And we'll take a look, but I think you're going to get both chiefs on this one from the public safety standpoint, but I do believe that we can, once that is opened from the Pop Ferry extension, to be able to utilize that, but I will turn it over to the professional.
So we're definitely looking forward to the extension being opened up, because that's going to help us out tremendously. What we had talked about Friday night, that's totally unacceptable. I was just talking with Chief Geiser a little bit. We'll look at it, make sure it's not a fire issue, anything like that, but we're also working on getting back with the Coliseum to have re-engage that conversation, because especially with one of the Briarfield being closed down, it's no good. We are working on it.
Right, no, and I appreciate that. And this is nothing new. I think this was a problem. This was a concern probably before John Miller was police chief, would be my guess. I can't believe he didn't solve all these issues before he left.
Well, if you can remember the last conversation,
right.
It didn't really go anywhere. So we're going to try to re-engage and see what we can come up with.
Right, and even when Briarfield is opened again, maybe in the next couple of weeks or whatever, it's still going to be an issue until that gate is closed. And it's just an egress. Nobody enters. They're always exiting.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
That's all.
Be going through a neighborhood. Right.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. That's all I have. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale. Mr. Shoemaker.
Just a few things. The Thomason Center, or Medical Plaza on Shriners, just north of the interstate, I believe they met with Director Creel and his department last week. I think the wheels are in motion now, so hopefully that project will finally, I know it's been delayed a little bit for the last year or so, but it's a great development for the city and for Ward 7, so I think that's moving forward now, hopefully. Howard Creek Bridge on Old Highway 67, we had emergency repairs last week. The bridge had to be shut down. Repairs are being made. Hopefully those will be done soon. The bridge will be back open for a while. We do have funding in place. I think bids will go out hopefully in the next couple weeks to demolish and replace that bridge. That's coming, more information soon about that. It'll be shut down for 6 months though when that does happen, but we'll have more information when we get a little bit closer, but it is in the works. And lastly, Councilman Nail brought up homeless at Broadwater. I know we hadn't really talked about that much. It's not a police issue. They're doing everything they can, no doubt. We've kicked this can down the curb for years. We've talked about it for years, just since I've been on the council. Until we hold the owners' feet to the fire and do something, I'm going to just say it's never going to end. It's going to go away a while, and then it's going to come back because we do nothing at all to hold their feet to the fire for some reason. Don't know why. We don't do it, and until we do, that's going to it's going to resurface. So at some point, we as a city, as an administration, are going to have to do something about it, or we're going to have this discussion next year at the same time. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shoemaker. Mr. Tisdale, you had another thought?
Yes, just a quick comment, and it deals with properties and the homeless. There's 2 parcels that were adjacent that are situated between Fernwood Road and Eisenhower Drive. And the property owner, when the unsheltered, the homeless started moving in there, when the Broadwater was being cleaned, he called me. I said, look, if you can, not clear cut whatsoever, if you can get rid of all the undergrowth, beautiful little oak trees and pine and everything, I said, as long as the police can drive by and see the property, pretty much from one end to the other, that way they know where the homeless are situated. If they've got to move folks, if they need a no trespass letter, you don't have to say it. I'm just saying that's worked for this property. It's several acres. I don't know what the cost would be, but again, as I said several years ago, that's not my concern. That's the property owners. That's all. Just going to make that observation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale. Mr. Marshall.
All right. My report is kind of simple. The procedures that we see going on today, I'm going to be fighting. I'm not giving up the fight to make sure that this does not continue. I want to make sure that my report includes the fact that when I was elected for change. When I knocked on everyone's door, I said I would not come here and sit here and watch and rubber stamp anything that goes on. As you see, I followed the procedures. As you see, I've tried to do everything I can to get one item on the agenda. As you see, this is stacked. And as you can also see, there's work to be done. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm happy, but I am going to tell you up front, this is very obvious. This is so obvious that it's painful that we have to sit here and watch this this council under the leadership of the president that we have now fuss and fight and beg to get an item on the agenda. Nowhere in my understanding of the law does it say that I have to have the permission of the very one that we are authorized by law to do checks and balances on, to put something on the council's agenda. I am reporting to you that I'm going to be fighting. This is just the beginning. I'm not going to try to do this by myself. I need your help, Mr. and Mrs. Biloxi. We are now still working with a $20 million deficit because of rubber stamping. We are now working with a deficit that we took $1.8 million from the police department because of rubber stamping. We are now working at a position where we have police officers that are not able to continue to be employed with this city. Those that we count on to protect us while we're sleeping, we are now stabbing them in the back. We are now asking, as we can see, every meeting, begging for money to fix potholes in streets in our wards. What this resolution that was not put on the agenda, was blocked illegally, was to make sure that each ward would get an allocation of equal amounts. No ward would get any more than the other. Equal amounts of your money to go into each ward. Or it will continue to do as it is, where the mayor decides, basically, throw it on the agenda, and then we decide. On this agenda, there's a $14 million bond. $10 million bond was we voted for during the budget, which I did not vote for. On this agenda, there are so many items that did not go through the same procedure that they're saying that what I was asking for as a sitting council member had to do. We have a double standard of rules, and it's designed not to help you. It's designed to hurt you, the citizens. I'm going to fight. I'm going to stand up. I ask that you stand with me as we make sure that these changes are done. Those of you who come here every week, notice that we have now all of a sudden has to be going through what's called a study agenda. I've been coming to these meetings for years. I've never once seen any item on any agenda that said study agenda. I've never seen any votes pushing anything towards the study agenda. Mr. Tisdale, you've been here longer than I have. Have you seen an item on any of these agendas that says study agenda to be placed on the meetings where you have to go through this process?
Actually, I can only recall one. I think that was probably 7 or 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, Kenny.
Okay.
But one.
So,
Yeah, so yes, I've seen one.
So we go back 8 years for something that's not routine, that doesn't happen, that's not even, that doesn't even make any sense. We're going to follow the rules. Follow the rules. I have no problem with that. But don't change the rules, adjust the rules so that you can get the agenda that the mayor wants and not what the people need. The money needs to go to each ward member, each council member, in order that we may serve each of our wards, plain and simple. Every meeting, each of these ward members come here and they ask for this share of money to fix roads. Ward 7 needs ditches cleaned, sidewalks worked on, infrastructure work done. They have to come in and ask, please. You've heard today, council members asking for work to be done and funding, begging. That is not our job to do that. We are, according to the state law, and I'm going to be fighting that this be put right into perspective, that we are in charge of the funds for the city of Biloxi, the 7 of us. No one on that table is responsible for the funds. We are. As the president of the council, I would respect my president, I would respect the president of this council, my president, to speak up for our rights, to at least have something on the agenda so that we as a council can either vote it up or vote it down. It should be our decision. This is the council's room, not the mayor's room. This is the room where the people's voice is heard. I will fight. This is just the beginning. Mr. and Mrs. Biloxi, if you want to see changes, I ask that you contact me. I ask that you contact each of your council members and say, we don't want it to go the way it's been going. Make the change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Got a few items here, but before I address these items, try to address the temperature in the room. We do have a process. We do have mechanisms on this council. And I do take my role as council president. I'll be serving for another 6 months. I hope I've served admirably for the first 6 months of this new term. But as I stated earlier, the resolution that was being proposed was changed at least 3 times, at least, if not more, but 3 that we know of. Legal said they just got this new resolution sometime today, and they said they haven't had a chance to look at it. This is not changing a speed sign. This is not saying they were going to pass a resolution to, change, the something in a specific ward. This affects all 7 wards. It's a big deal, complex issue. The administration has a staff that puts these contracts together if and when we take action to create 7 different accounts for 7 different wards. And I think it's prudent for us to make sure that we include them at the table, to have all the information, to be transparent, to be inclusive, and not just what one councilman may feel is right for the entire city. And so the action that was taken was to slow it down and suggest, and let's do a workshop. Let's all of us, you're all invited to that workshop if we set it, along with the administration, that this affects. When we take money and put it into different accounts and we say it's going to go for different projects, and it's going to require bids, it's going to require engineering, it's going to require some oversight. That is not just a simple measure of changing a speed limit sign. So I look forward to it. I may agree wholeheartedly with the resolution, and we may not make any changes, but I suspect we probably will in the best interest of the citizens and the city of Biloxi as your city working together, not independently, but working together. Now, somebody may try to smudge that or take shots at it. I don't know the motivation for that. Those individuals will have to kind of reconcile that in good conscience. Now, to my council report. It was very good day yesterday at the Martin Luther King parade. Very inspiring. The weather was excellent. The mood was upbeat. It was exactly what Biloxi should look like. And I wrote these words down by Martin Luther King. I was going to kind of share that with everybody today to open my council report. This is what he said. This is one sentence that he said. I believe what self-centered men have torn down, other-centered men can build up. Martin Luther King. And I hope that I can just kind of represent that just a little bit. Second, if you watch the championship game, some of you may be football fans, some of you may not, but it was great to see that Croatian kicker win the game for him last night. Nicholas Radicic, he accounted for 9 points in their 6-point national championship victory. So congratulations to the Croatian kicker and the Indiana team for winning the national championship. It was unbelievable. Chief Miller, it was an excellent night, sir, with you and Big Murph. Almost standing room only. The food was excellent. I think we had every council member was there. The mayor was there, and all your fans and friends and officers, they were there too, sir. Would you elaborate of your experience that night? And before you start, I want to just say this. Your daughter, there was not a dry eye in the entire room when she just poured her heart and soul out about her daddy. And we thank her for that, too.
I appreciate that, sir. When I was growing up, there wasn't a dry at my house either. Teenager. But I appreciate very much everything everybody did. I appreciate the council. You've been a great council to work with. I appreciate it so much. I thought the other night was more than I expected. Some of those things I didn't know were going to take place took place, but it was all very appreciated. Again, I appreciate all of you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, I just want to acknowledge Christy and her team in Public Works and Engineering. There was a water break. I don't have many of these. I was just bragging the other day, and then what happens? I have a water break in my ward, Live Oak on the Bay. They were Johnny on the spot. I think it was a clamp, a bad clamp, so it wasn't a major issue, but it was a major issue to some of the folks there for a little while. Thank you for responding promptly. Thank you for the administration for communicating to everyone at boil water notices and informing them it's okay to use the water again. I reported last council meeting about the Tunnels to Towers of benefit hosted by the sanctuary. I just want to reiterate again, I spent most of the day out there with those folks, and it was an incredible evening. Firefighters versus crime fighters. I mean, they were shoulder to shoulder, belly to belly, and they were having that donut eating contest, and I think the firefighters edged them by a couple of donuts and all that kind of stuff, but that was a lot of fun. Pro wrestling, and to see the little kids up, I mean, they thought they were in the Superdome, and the wrestlers were interacting with the families, and not in a good way, but they were interacting, and the kids were having a good time. Two great bands, the Tyrone Benoit. I was calling it Benoit, but I was corrected. It's the Benoit band, and there was a Skinner tribute band that was pretty amazing. And Scott Payne, no relation to the Paynes here, he's an ex-FBI agent, and he had stories to tell. I mean, this is a guy that had to gain the trust and go undercover and infiltrate some of the bad dudes around the nation and get them off the streets, and he was pretty successful. I shook his hand, and I mean, his hand went all the way up to my wrist, but he was a big bad dude. And then finally, Rakavaca, they unveiled a hero bottle. They could have chose California, who tried to woo them for this unveiling. They could have chose New York. They could have chose Florida, but they chose Biloxi, Mississippi. And every bottle that is sold, $5 goes to Tunnels to Tower benefit. And I think they said they expect to sell how many? Rick was there. How many bottles did you recall what they said they were going to expecting to sell?
Just at that event, several hundred, so.
Yeah, just at that event, 700, but I think they're going to sell thousands and thousands of these bottles, 20,000 or some ridiculous number, and 20,000 times $5 would go to Tunnels to Towers. There were some Tunnel to Tower regional and national people there, and they're already trying to establish relationships with our Tunnels to Tower event, later on in September. In the Jackson legislative reception, over the last couple of weeks, we went up to Jackson twice, once for the legislative reception. Another time, we went up for the Mississippi Municipal Midwinter Conference. We had several of the council members there getting their educational credits, learning more about municipal government and how to be effective. And we got to rub elbows with our coast contingency up there, Scott Delano, Kevin Felsher, Zach Grady, Casey Urey, who's been essential for a lot of things. Greg Haney, if you haven't heard that name, he leads the tourism, the tourism commission, or not commission, but it's a tourism arm of the legislature that he kind of leads that. And then we went over to MDOT, and we talked to them, and we had a very good response. They appreciated Biloxi being prepared and having their documents and ready, so it makes it easier for them to make decisions to help us and assist us, so stay tuned for that. I do have a question for Chief Deback. This concerns the Humane Society, and I don't know if you don't want to comment on today, so you'll have more information. But I had a conversation with some of the folks. I think they have a meeting scheduled with you on us purchasing some kennels. Can you just give us an overview on what the purpose of that is and what the goal is? If you can comment on it at this time.
But we're not purchasing anything. That's all donated to us.
Okay.
If, let's say, somebody gets arrested, it's a cold night out, and, need a place to put them, emergency situation, that's what those kennels are for.
Okay.
It's not to replace anything we have in existence now.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, good luck on the meeting you're going to have on Thursday. And then the only final thing I have, if we can close our meeting today in memory of Jack Joachim, longtime Biloxian who passed away, I'd appreciate consideration for that. That concludes my report. We'll move on to the public agenda, citizens' comments. We have a total of 45 minutes. Each person that comes up, please write your name and address on the paper that's on the table, and state your name clearly for the record so the clerk can record it. You'll have 3 minutes. After your time expires, you'll hear the bell ring, and if you would end your presentation at that time, it would be appreciated. This is not question and answers. This is just what's on your mind to share with the council and the mayor today. So we'll start on my left, your right. Just raise your hand to be recognized. Mr. Silvestro, kick it off.
Bob Silvestro, 181 Irish Street. First thing, congratulations. And second, thanks to Jerry. There's some homes in our neighborhood that have been vacant for decades, and I guess they did whatever. The owners decided to knock them down, which make them much more. And I noticed the house next to it is fixing it up. Most of you know what we've been through in the last 2 years to try and do things. My last count, we have 22 homes. Some of them are amazing. There's 2 homes going up now. And long story short, the minute you try and address homeless and you get somewhere, the homeless advocates are going to show up here and tell you what a bad guy you are. I've gone through the Citizens Academy with the police department. Now, I don't know what you're afraid of, but I could tell you, you should ask for the numbers. Let's say 2 years ago, what law enforcement and first responders spent dealing with the Broadwater. compared to the last year, you've saved 6 figures. Now, police department can say what they want. The truth of the matter is they can't enforce it unless it's cleared. What's going on back there is atrocious. This isn't homeless people. This is drug dealers running in. It's starting to go over again. So we have people working so hard to renovate our neighborhood. And truthfully, you know what the problem is? Not the homeless, the city. I went through everything the way I did. Mr. Gray, Mr. Marshall, Mr. Nail, Mr. Creel, Mr. Shoemaker. I commend you. You're on the right way. You guys I have the utmost respect for with the mayor, but you don't get it. It's got nothing to do with me. The city has changed. You can't keep going the way you're going. You need to put, it's not your police's responsibility. Anderson, whoever owns the place now, has to put private security. There's no more, oh, we like this guy, we don't like this guy. Go in there and see what's happening to girls. Let me tell you something. How his insurance company is giving him insurance on that property, how can you have someone live somewhere with no toilet? I had to get a permit. I'm just telling you, I trying to do everything the right way. Come to the neighborhood and see it. It's very sad. You have to stop the wave. So anything I can do, and Mr. Marshall, I give you all the credit in the world for trying to do what you're doing. It's very difficult, but you have our support. And Mr. Nail, thank you. But all these have a good day.
Thank you. Anyone else on my left? Raise your hand to be recognized. Yes, sir.
Chris Noble, and I live at 2304 Mary Lane, and I own property next to the property that's requesting a conditional use permit on Farnwood Road. My property is on DeBees. I oppose this conditional use permit because allowing such a facility, in contrast with the LDO, at this location will be inconsistent with the character of the surrounding area, which is primarily businesses engaged in retail sales and commercial services. It is likely that this facility would deter potential customers and negatively impact property values, and worst of all, hindering future growth and development in the area. This facility doesn't align with the needs or the interests of the nearby residents and the businesses, who are unlikely to be the target clientele for a drug and alcohol counseling or a sober living facility. I urge you to uphold the zoning regulations as they're written, protect the interest of the existing property owners, and prevent the imposition of undue burdens on property owners and public safety services. I ask that the council adhere to the definitions and guidelines established in the current LDO and recognize that this applicant is indeed a social services agency intending to operate a sober living facility, which is not permitted in a neighborhood business zone. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on my left? Yes, sir. Get you next. Okay, you're next.
Hello there. My name is Mike Commerce-Smith. I live at 2545 Wilson Road in Edgewater Park. I just wanted to speak on behalf of being in favor of the majestic oak tree designation being approved for the giant, beautiful live oak in Edgewater Park. I have nothing else to say. I want to thank Mr. Tisdale and Mr. Creel and Susan Peterson for helping me fill out the application. And I think we need to protect these beautiful trees, and that's probably one of the best looking trees in the city, in my opinion. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Name is Lance Clark. I'm at 13058 Pond Valley Lane. Speaking on in regards to item Q, according to the city's own ordinance, a halfway house is for individuals coming out of custodial confinement. The applicant has already stated that the residents are not coming from confinement and are participating voluntarily. The services they describe match the city's definition of a social services agency, which is not allowed in the zoning districts. This is not about opposing their mission. It is about applying the zoning laws correctly and consistently. If a zoning change is needed, that is the process. Mislabeling the use to get around the law is not. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? On my left. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Noble. I live in the 2300 block of Mary Lane. This is also in opposition to item 4-Q concerning the conditional use permit for 2793 Fernwood Drive. The program proposed at this location does not meet the City of Biloxi's definition of a halfway house. According to Chapter 2310 of the Land Development Ordinance, a halfway house is limited to individuals on release from custodial confinement or placed in lieu of such confinement. The applicant has made it clear that their residents are not coming from confinement and are not court-referred and are participating voluntarily. The services described by the applicant, including faith-based counseling, life skills training, job readiness programs, recovery meetings, and case management, fit the city's definition of a social services agency, which is described as a nonprofit facility providing training, counseling, health services, life skills training, substance abuse counseling, housing services, job centers, or neighborhood recovery centers. The applicant's program aligns exactly with this definition, and a social services agency is not permitted in the neighborhood business zone. Approving this under the wrong classification would undermine the zoning integrity and set a precedent that weakens protections for all property owners. To meet the spirit of the law, you must first meet the letter of the law. I want to be clear that rewriting the ordinance to make prohibited use suddenly permissible is not a clarification. It is a change in law to accommodate one applicant, and that undermines the entire purpose of zoning. And for these reasons, I respectfully request that the conditional use permit be denied, not tabled, not postponed, not sent to committee, but as presented, it should be denied. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Get to you next, okay?
Hi, I'm Catherine Bublik. I live at 2291 Club Moss. I just have same thing about the Fernwood. All I'm asking is that the city apply its own zoning laws correctly. This proposal does not meet the definition, and approving it in any way puts every property owner at risk. We deserve accuracy, transparency, and enforcement that protects our community.
Thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh.
Two items that I want to speak on today. One is on the policy agenda, item P, which is a resolution granting conditional use approval for a short-term rental at 1541 Collins.
May I ask you to state your name and address?
Michael Kavanaugh.
That's okay.
134 St. Jude.
Thank you.
And this conditional use was approved by the Planning Commission, and under the assumption that it met all the use-specific standards for a short-term rental. It does not meet specifically the standard of occupying no more than 60% of the lot. That is standard 23-4-3 10E4F, if you want to look it up. And that is a use-specific standard, not a zoning standard. So it is my understanding that a use-specific standard, you cannot provide a variance for that. So if that particular property does not meet that use-specific standard, then it cannot be approved. So in my opinion, the Planning Commission is in violation of the LDO regarding short-term rental standard. And I think that conditional use should be denied. I mean, if you go out there, these are 37 by 91 lots. And this structure almost fits the entire lot, and parking is included in this 60% calculation. So the entire lot is almost taken up by the structure and the parking. So that's, I recommend, and that's again item P. The second one I want to talk about real quick is that Broadwater. And I wasn't going to mention this, but my brother was coming back from a Mardi Gras activity in New Orleans on the train. And he said as soon as they hit Boulevard Road, that it was embarrassing to know that they were in the city of Biloxi, riding the train through the middle of the Broadwater property, and he said it was just pitiful, pitiful. I don't understand. That property only pays, the entire property, I'm talking about north and south of the railroad tracks, only pays $60,000 a year in property tax. That's it. How much has the city of Biloxi spent trying to clean the property up when it is Broadwater Development LLP, have a registered agent in Gulfport? Why doesn't the city contact that agent and say, you need to get something done on your property? That's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else on this side of the room? Raise your hand to be recognized if you want to speak. I'll go to, oh, we have one? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Larry Tusey. So I study live oak trees. Probably measured more trees than anybody in the world for live oaks. A lot of you guys know me from protecting trees before, and I think it's admirable what y'all doing about this majestic tree program that Susan Peterson has introduced. I don't know the details. Are y'all voting on that or what? But I want to commend Biloxi. It does a pretty good job on their live oaks, protecting them. I'm also working with Ocean Springs. I'm everywhere on the coast. I'm actually affiliated nationwide with a bunch of scientists, arborists, people that are from New England to Colorado to North Washington State to South Carolina. And our trees here are so special that one tree is its own ecosystem. So you have insects, mammals, reptiles that live and die on a live oak tree that's, say, a century or two old. And to see, hurricanes have destroyed so many of them, and the development takes some out as well. But I think Biloxi, Ocean Springs, Long Beach, all our cities here do a pretty good job of taking care of our trees because they're all special. We grew up here. My grandfather grew up here under these trees, your fathers, your cousins, and married under these trees. So if we can protect as many as we can and highlight the majestic trees, that is a special thing. So I just want to thank the city for even considering doing that. I don't think it's been done many places down here. I'm working on some tree trails in cities. So maybe Biloxi would be interested in later on creating a tree trail that you could actually have a map and go to these majestic trees and learn the species and the importance of the trees. I'm here for on Susan's behalf, and if I can help anybody out, I'm on Facebook. Everybody knows how to get in touch with me. I just came from Goche doing some trees on the river. And I was in Goche yesterday. I'm in Van Cleve. I'm in Ocean Springs, Gulfport. I've been in Louisiana, all over the South doing this. So thank you guys for voting on this issue.
Thank you. All right, I missed anyone on this side? Anyone else? Raise your hand high so I can see it if you want to speak. All right, I'm going to move to this side of the room. Yes, sir.
My name is Curtis Schaefer. I own the property at 1541 Collins Street that the gentleman was speaking about earlier. To address what he had to say, I will at least offer. I went through the Planning Commission to actually have a little additional sidewalk put along the side, and they did the calculations then to make sure that I was within the standard that was required. I was told I couldn't do any more, but that met what they did. They sent me to engineering. Engineering had to look at it because of drainage issues, and they gave their stamp of approval too. You know, I will say I love Biloxi. I've had a mild history here. Did some of my training in optometry school at Keesler. Love the area. That was before Katrina. After Katrina, I came back in the military in '07. Was part of the Air Force Reserve there as an optometrist, and my heart just broke when I saw all these empty lots with nothing on it. And I had conversations with some of the military members that had lost everything, telling me that they couldn't afford to build back because it was so expensive. Insurance was sky high. The standards had been elevated to the point they were out of reach for a lot of folks. And I have invested a lot of time, a lot of money to be able to beautify my one little section of Biloxi. I specifically looked there because I wanted to be close to a military base. My wife wanted to be close to the water. You know, there were several issues there. Due to the expense, I would love to try to find a way to make it work where I can afford to pay for the insurance. But I can tell you up front, when I retire, my income will be so much less that unless I have somebody renting there, it probably won't happen. And it's a risk I really don't want to take. So if it gets to that point, I may be required to actually sell my dream where I want to retire and be a part of this community, which would break my heart again. But I've already heard from a couple that have opposed, and I respect your opinions. I think that's what you're here for. But I wanted to at least offer my point of view and tell you, I love your city. I want other people to love your city. Come here and enjoy it. My place has easy access to restaurants, to entertainment outside of the casino area, and it has some beautiful views of the ocean. We just love it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else on my right? Raise your hand to be recognized if you'd like to speak. Yes, sir.
I recently bought a piece of property next to me. I live at 314 Collier Street. My name's John Foster, by the way, and I bought the piece of property on the side of me at 310. I'd like to put two single family dwellings on it and offer short-term rentals. It is zoned residential business.
This is not a Q&A. We don't answer questions and answer. This is just public comments.
Okay.
Citizens' comments. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody, no questions?
All right. You can ask one of the administration to clarify that, or your councilman after the meeting concludes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Dina Whitman. I am the Executive Director of Open Doors Homeless Coalition, and we are the owner of 2793 Fernwood. Just wanted to let you know that we are here if you have any questions when you reach policy item Q on your agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? My right side of the room. Anyone in the back of the room? Come on up. Yep.
Hi, my name is Steve Delahousie. I'm a registered nurse. I'm here to talk about the halfway house or transitional living proposal. I live at 2580 Rue Palafox. Unlike a lot of the other people, I am a resident of Ward 5. I'm president of the Enclave Homeowners Association. I'd like to say what's being proposed here is temporary structured housing for individuals recovering from addiction, homelessness while they work towards employment, sobriety, permanent housing. These homes are not emergency shelters, and they operate with strict rules, supervisions, and accountability and standards. The benefits of the community is that, number one, reduces visible homelessness. We know where they are. It improves public safety outcomes. There are fewer calls for services for police and fire department and EMS. It saves public resources because there's a place for these people to stay, and they don't have to devote it to finding people in these encampments in the woods. It supports, number four, supports workforce participation. They try to get people that are there to go into the workplace to prepare them. Many residents become employees, renters, and contribute to the community. Number five, it breaks the addiction homeless cycle. Transitional living provides a bridge between treatment and independent living. The benefits to the individual is that it provides stable housing and supports recovery. It also has accountability with support. The programs will include curfews and behavioral standards, sobriety monitoring, counseling or recovery meetings, and case management. It provides a pathway to permanent housing, and the important consideration is it provides well-managed program benefits for both residents and neighborhoods. The benefits described here are strong on program management. The proposal meets all these criteria. In summary, the people that are proposing this, it will reduce homelessness, improve public safety outcomes, save public resources, support workforce participation, and preserve neighborhood quality of life. I think it's a good idea, and I'm very much for it. Nobody wants it in their neighborhood, but where? Where are you going to put it? Years ago, Mayor Gillich, in his first term, proposed, instead of tearing down the Beauvoir School, to have a homeless shelter. That was turned down by the council. This is not a shelter, but that would have solved a lot of problems. When they tore down the woods on Irish Street, there were more than 100 encampments there. They had to move somewhere. This is going to take care of 5. It'll take care of 5. They have to be there for 2 years. They have to go through sobriety tests. There's just, the company that's proposing it is very much credible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Delahousie. Thank you. All right. Anyone else on my right? Yes. What's that?
My name is Barry Lyons. I'm here on behalf of Discipleship 33, which is a faith-based recovery home or a place for people that have been through certified and verified programs that are on their way to a new life. I'm a former client, a board member of the Home of Grace, and this program has been derived or basically got its beginnings through the Home of Grace and the people that are in charge of this. I'm a board member of Discipleship 33. We believe this is a very worthwhile project that fits in. We've gone through all the proper steps and had been advised as to how to label it. How that comes out, obviously we'll leave it up to you guys, but I'm here in support of it and believe that this is going to open the door for improving the coast and helping these people get on with their lives and provide some workforce, which is sorely needed as well. So I'm just here on behalf of Discipleship 33, speaking in favor of adopting and approving this change and this adjustment to make this possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. Anyone else on the right side? Back of the room? I'm going to go back on this side. Okay, yes, sir. It's on the...
Good afternoon. My name is Ronnie Arant. I am the Executive Director of Discipleship 33, and I'm also the current Program Director of the Home of Grace. I just want to be here to kind of inform everybody of what we are about. So there's a lot of misconception that we're just going to be taking people off the street and putting them in the housing, and that is absolutely what we're not about. So each individual that comes to us will have to complete an inpatient drug and alcohol treatment. Even if someone is incarcerated coming out of jail, they would have to complete an inpatient drug and alcohol treatment before coming to us. The thing about it is there's a lot of issues with the terminology and wording. City of Biloxi does not have but two options. That's halfway house or inpatient drug and alcohol rehab. We are definitely not an inpatient drug and alcohol facility. We are the next step after that. We provide job opportunities. Yes, we do have counseling options. We do have groups and we have all this, but none of this takes place in the house. This is all outsourced thing, off-site thing that they will be seeing counselors off-site. They'll be going to AA meetings, NA meetings off-site. None of that is taking place but in the house, but actual residents living in the house, renting rooms with accountability. A 24/7 staff member lives in each one of my houses and will definitely be living in this house as well. Direct oversight is by me. I know, a lot of people, nobody wants this type of thing in their neighborhood, but I promise you this, this is the most secure facility and operation like this that you will find. And my track record speaks for itself. I currently have 4 houses in the Jackson County area. We have had no issues in the past 2 years, no police called, no incidents. Employers call me, asking me if I have any guys or any women. We also serve women in the Jackson County area. We have a house for women. And they call me asking because they prefer to hire my guys or my women because they do have accountability. They are drug tested. They know what they're getting whenever they get one of them. And it's not just about helping the residents that we serve. It's about helping the entire community of Biloxi. That's what we want to do. We want to be an asset to the city of Biloxi. So I am here. If any questions y'all have, feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the back of the room? Oh.
Run out of paper on the backside. I'm Tom Linimer. live in Biloxi. I work with a lot of veterans, guys with addiction, playing pickleball. Probably the biggest thing they talk to me about. What am I going to do when I get out of treatment, both at the VA as well as the Home of Grace? I want a place to live. A lot of them are homeless when they went in, and they could come out homeless if they don't have a place to live. We have tried very hard, the VA, to get HUD-assisted housing in various apartment complexes. Some of them are on Eisenhower Road. Sometimes they can't make that payment unless they're fully disabled. If they're partial disabled, they have to find a job. And a lot of them can't drive. They lost their license. So they need to be close to bus stops. And Home of Grace is very good at finding employment for some of these guys, especially at Walmart, working as people that stock shelves and things like that. So you have to give them a chance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chief?
John Miller, 113 Roberts Circle, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. I just wanted to take a minute and tell you I'm familiar with all three of these groups. I've worked closely with them over the years, and they have always done exactly what they said they would do. They control their properties very well. There's never been any issues there. Discipleship 33, as my capacity as a police chief, I certainly checked into them knowing that they were asking for this here in Biloxi. And he's absolutely right. There's been no issues with any properties in Pascagoula. They all three do a great job and a service that we need here in Biloxi. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to be recognized to speak? Citizen comments are now closed. Move on to the policy agenda. Item A, first reading.
Ordinance to approve a comprehensive zoning map amendment within a section of East Biloxi to foster development since Hurricane Katrina.
Have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. All right, moved by Mr. Gray.
Second.
Second by Mr. Creel. It's the first reading. Next item.
Ordinance to amend text within the land development ordinance, removing a duplicate record pertaining to cannabis-specific uses.
Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Mr. Tisdale.
Second.
Second by Mr. Creel. It's the first reading. Next item.
Ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances, creating special classification and acknowledging public policy objective for discounted senior water and sewer rates.
Chair will entertain a motion. Motion. This is the first reading, just to let you know.
I'll make that motion for discussion purposes. And I do have one question.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale. I need a second to move this for discussion. Seconded by Mr. Creel. This is a first reading, but go ahead, Mr. Tisdale.
Right, and somebody will need to do a little research on this for our next reading. An estimate of how many households would be affected if this senior rate were to be approved. Just
fair enough.
Curious. Okay, thank you.
All right. I'll allow any other discussion on the first reading if anyone has a sentence or two.
Rick, maybe you can answer this. How many people's on it now?
8,632.
And how many of them has been, I mean, this is the senior, hate to say it. How many of them may not be living at this address or altogether?
I have no answer for that,
Yeah,
Councilman.
and that's what this is for, correct? To find
No,
out?
this is for the AG opinion in which we're not able to do a discounts for age-based. What we're able to do, though, is we have researched this, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania was able to do a 25% based upon HUD standards. So what this is going to look at is, as we move forward to April, I believe, Peter, if I'm correct, they are able to come back in, re-register for this, and if they meet the standards that are in this resolution, then they'll get a 25% discount upon their water and sewer at that time. But this is to correct an AG's opinion in which we were not able to give a discount based off age only, but we were able to find this to be able to do 25% off with the HUD standards.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you, gentlemen.
That's all I have.
Do we have a comment on that?
Yes.
Okay, one of the standards that you're looking at is based on income. Is that correct?
There are several different ones that were in the resolution, yes, sir. You have
Okay.
income, the value of your house. What else was it, Peter?
Your age.
Those are the main two.
Okay, well, if you're going by the value of the house, so someone living in an apartment or a rental house, how would that affect them?
Yeah, property owner is paying the water bill.
They have to be the primary water bill payer for that, so.
So if someone lives in a house, they inherit it, and it goes above that threshold, but they're a senior citizen, they have just a Social Security, are they going to be disqualified because?
Yeah, I mean, under the current thing, we try to tie it to income and the value of the house, and the assessed at $125,000 is, the tax assessor kind of assesses these things low. They assess it at 80% of the value, so most people, if they're tied to need, if they're in that sort of lower value of the house is what we're looking
So is there any way we can do where, I mean, I know it's the first reading, but it seems though if a husband and wife and the husband was the main breadwinner, he's gone, and they just happen to have a pretty decent house, and she's just barely making it, we look like we're going to punish her. Because she don't get the discount, but she's the one that we're actually trying to serve. So is there a way we can say either or maybe, something like that?
Well, we could raise that to, I mean, that number, the value of the house, we could raise that to $150,000, but I mean, that's, trying to tie it more to HUD, trying to make it reasonably related to people in need, so.
But $150,000 house, there's a lot of people that would need this and qualify financially, income-wise. But they just happen to live in a house that's $125,000, probably half the people in here.
It's not what it would appraise for, what you could sell it for. It's what's on your property tax bill, what you're being assessed at your tax value. So we can do a little looking at that, but I would say your typical house in Ward 1, I don't know how many, or Ward 2, I don't know how many you would have that are going to be assessed at over 125, 150. I'd have to look at that.
So I want to make sure this becomes an issue, and I'm bringing this back up because, I'm always going to bring it up. But what are our options to fixing that?
If it becomes an issue, just to do nothing, or if the number needs to be adjusted. I'm not following the question.
Yeah, what's the process for adjusting? Say, okay, maybe 125, 150,000. Can we go maybe 175? How do we adjust? Is that adjustable?
Yeah, I mean, I think the value of the house can be adjustable by the second reading. The income level is a little more problematic.
Okay, I'm not really having a problem with the income level. We're there to help those who cannot afford. That's obvious. But if someone happens to live in a house that has a value, but they're on mental disability, whatever type of disability, that doesn't mean they're barely paying their bills. But that just happens to be the family home that they inherited. So I don't want them to be stuck. The very people we're trying to help, we turn around and hurt.
Yeah, and I can look at 150. I don't think 150 would be an issue. Maybe
Assessed value.
I mean, I think typically.
I'd like to discuss it more as to, what would be reasonable. That way we won't have people that are just left out. A lot of people in Ward 2, in Ward 1, in East Biloxi, they're living in inherited houses. They literally inherited those houses. So when you put that value up there like that, you might be hurting the very people that we're trying to help.
Typically, if they've inherited a house, then there's never, it's going to be assessed at whatever that previous owner had it at. So, but I'll look into that and try to get some options on that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Again, this is a first reading. All right, we'll move on. Next item.
Resolution appointing Director of the Department of Police for the City of Biloxi.
Chair, entertain a motion. So moved. Moved by Mr. Tisdale.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Gray. Discussion, Mr. Tisdale.
No, I've known Officer D-Back. I think you were a K-9 officer. You were not a K-9, I know that, but I think you were a K-9 officer that would service Biloxi High occasionally. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. I was a school resource officer, and at the same time, I had an explosive K-9.
All right, thank you. That's all I have to add.
That's all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. Anyone else?
I didn't know. I'll speak. Yeah.
Mr. Gray, you seconded it. We'll get to Mr. Shoemaker next.
All the posts I've been reading on Facebook about you, I mean, everybody praise you, talking about how great of a guy you are. You're going to do the right thing. I'm excited for you, but are you sure you want this?
I got a bottle of Rolaids and a bottle of aspirin to go, each day now.
Well, I'm excited for you. Congratulations, hopefully. Thank you. That's all I have.
Mayor, Susan Hunt wants to know if she can put her name in the hat.
Assistant, yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Mr. Shoemaker.
On Mardi Gras.
Okay.
I worked with Chris for a long time at the police department. I was an investigator when Chris was promoted to sergeant. So he transferred to investigations. And at least the way I remember this, I took him under my wing. I absolutely molded Chris to be the investigator and the officer that he is today. And I mean, I don't want to take credit for your successes, Chris, but I mean, that's the way I remember it. And I also have plenty of stories I could tell, not so good stories. However, those are definitely probably stories for another day. On a serious note, though, Chris has come up through the ranks. He came up through the ranks, patrol, K-9, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and assistant chief. He didn't get any of those positions by friends, by family. Nobody gave him those positions. Chris earned those positions on his own merit, his integrity, and his work ethic. No doubt, we all know, Chris, you got some big shoes to fill. However, that being said, I'm without a doubt, beyond positive, Chris, that you are the right man for this job.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Pretty good, Mr. Creel.
Just 2 words. John who?
Yeah.
Boy, shut off his key fob.
Mr. Marshall, you have anything?
Yes. The time that I've spent talking to you and going over the issues and things like that, you've always been responsive. I like that. I don't know if you're going to beat Mr. Miller, but I look forward to seeing you trying. And if you get anywhere close, I think we're going to be very happy with you.
Thank you.
As far as, I'm fighting hard for the budget, make sure that your officers are compensated and taken care of, that you have everything you need. I will continue to do that. And I believe this whole council is going to be doing that to make sure that, at least your playing field is fair, and that your troops, your guys that are under you, the ladies that are under you, know that we, the representatives of the citizens of Biloxi, stand with you 100%. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Mr. Nail?
I can't wait to work with you on the homeless problem and go out to the Broadwater, do a little ride along and see what you're all about. That's about it.
Do it. Do it.
Chris, congratulations for being nominated. I'm sure you're going to get a favorable vote here. Crime fighting, public safety, dog catching. But look, sharpen up on that donut eating contest stuff, man. Come on.
They had hours to train every day. That's unfair.
Okay. Chris, you got anything to say before we vote?
First of all, I'd like to thank Chief Miller, his leadership over the years, as well as recommending me. I'd like to thank the mayor and Mr. Weaver for putting me forward to the council. We're going to continue as a department. We're the best police department, the best employees around. We've been blessed, or I've been blessed for the last 27 years to have the most supportive community. And police department cannot ask for any more than that. We're certainly going to continue looking at our strategic plan, moving forward with it, and growing what Chief Miller is, a great department he has left us with. And I appreciate him for that.
Thank you, sir. With that, I think we can call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Let the record show unanimous. All right, next item. Oh.
Hey, Sheriff Chris.
Good luck. Item E.
Resolution appointing Shane Steele to the Harrison County Emergency Communications Commission.
Chair entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Tisdale.
Second.
Second by Mr. Gray. Mr. Tisdale.
Nothing other than Mr. Murphy retired. We need to have somebody in there.
Okay.
Right? He's a good fellow. That's all.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Gray, anything?
I have nothing.
All right. Any other comments? All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Next item.
Resolution declaring the intention of the mayor and city council to issue general obligation bonds in the amount of $14 million.
Chair entertain a motion by Mr. Marshall.
Move the table.
Motion to table. Is there a second?
Got to get on the table first.
No, you got to put it on the table first. Move it.
I'll make that motion for discussion purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale. There's a motion to put it on the table for discussion. I have a second.
What is the motion?
Motion is to move it for discussion.
I'll second.
All right, second by Mr. Creel. Mr. Tisdale.
Yes, on what item specifically will this $14 million be spent?
This is up to $14 million to be determined by the projects that we, in discussion, that would be applicable. Again, the heavy lift, multi-year, things like roofs and generators and those kinds of things will be determined. This allows us, I think Thomas is here, and the whole process and why we're doing it right now in this way is so we can, there's a couple of events that need to be at the state bank or the, what's the name of the bank that we have to go to with regard to the Mississippi Development Bank to get on the agenda and to be completed 2 meetings in a row. But the list, whatever we decide, whatever you decide, and there have been a number of lists, there's been some up to $28 million worth of stuff on the list that would be determined by you. But this is just to get the process rolling. Is that not right, Jason?
That's right. And these, as the mayor was saying, these are by the term of the bonds with tax exempt bonds, which these are, which means the owners of the bonds don't pay taxes on the interest income. Cannot have a project that outlives the life of the bond. So these are for long-term projects. These aren't for short-term things. This wouldn't be a lease purchase, say, for example, for a police car. These are long-term capital projects.
And the amount can be determined at that point by the projects you pick.
All right, so I think I heard that there were 2 events. One is you got to get to the Mississippi Development Bank, and is that time sensitive? And if so, when is that meeting? And if it's, and when is the second meeting if we don't make the
Bank meets once a month. It's on the second, usually on the second Wednesday of the month. It's a 2-step process. The first step is you go to it for inducement. That's a simple application, and that's really simple. The second meeting, I have to present a credit package to their credit committee that gets approved before the main board meeting. And then they approve the issuance of the bonds. At one of those 2 meetings, a representative of the city has to attend. It can be literally anybody. In the past, it's been the mayor, but it can be anybody, any elected official or appointed official of the city.
We did a similar thing for the A.J. Holloway and the expansion.
That's
For the
right.
14 million, I think is what it was, wasn't it, too?
That's right. And this is the process used for what's called a negotiated bond sale. We haven't determined yet whether we'll do a public offering or a private placement, which is where a bank buys the entire bond issue, a commercial bank. But getting back to the timeline, so it's a 2-month process for the development bank. And then after that, you put in the documents. Your bond attorney, Jamie Tardy, finalizes the documents. And then you go to Chancery Court for validation of the bond. All of that takes about 60 to 90 days. So the city is not, and it's important to understand too, that the city is not on the hook until they actually sign a bond purchase agreement. At any point in that process, the city could back off for whatever reason, say the market isn't right, or just any other reason at all.
Okay, so that's the process roughly. So there's nothing that says we have to approve this right now today.
Well, the first step to go to the development bank, what we were hoping to do is go to the development bank at next meeting in February for inducement. The resolution of intent would need to be passed before we go to that meeting.
Okay, so it's at some point, I want to know exactly what we're going to be doing with $14 million. And I know we've talked off and on probably for 6 months. Mayor, you and I have talked a couple of times, and I think at one council meeting, Rick, I think you mentioned a couple of things, but none of us have, I can't say that. I have not seen a list of projects and an estimate of what those projects are going to cost. The reason I mention that is, A, I'm curious. I want to see what's going to be done and where, and I'd also like to know an approximate timeline and what those priorities are for those projects. But the other thing is the resolution. This is a typical resolution that we've approved in the past, I think, and it covers everything, including the kitchen sink. So what I would like to know is, before we do anything much more, maybe it calls for a workshop, maybe we'd sit down and talk about exactly what projects we're going to be paying for with this money if this bond proposal is approved. And all we're doing today, I think, is this is just an intent to borrow money, correct?
Correct. And then there's a protest period, too, that goes along with that. The resolution has to be published for a couple of weeks in local newspaper. So this is just to kick off the process.
Right, Jason. Thank you for taking the time to explain that. I suspect somebody's going to ask me at some point in the next week, what are y'all going to spend $14 million on? And I'd like to be able to tell them what we plan to spend it on. So that concludes my comments at this point.
Let me ask.
Go ahead, Mayor, and then we'll get to Jamie.
You know, do you think today or next week, if you're going to table this resolution, do we have the opportunity by next week to get on, to the bank?
Sure. Their meeting, let me look at my calendar. Well, it's going to be the second Wednesday in February.
In February, so we have enough time. Yeah, and there is a list, and I'm not sure where it's circulated, but it's a wish list, and it's up to 14 million. So you may not want to do, but again, the heavy-duty things like roofs, like generators, like things that are certainly you want to disperse over the course of its lifetime and not all at once. That impacts a budget that you have to. Debt service is timely, and the timeliness of this bond issue and there's some things we're expecting down the road, like in 27, that some millage, and again, depending on, I think we were shooting at 4.25 interest rate, and the
roughly, yes.
If we were to borrow all 14 million, the debt service would be favorable, especially in the coming years where some millage may be dropping off.
Right, and I noted that this may be issued in several series and not just a single series, as you said.
It could be. This resolution preserves flexibility. That's another reason you do it in a not-to-exceed amount, and I typically recommend that amount be equal to or above what you think you're going to need as you're putting together actual projects that will be funded. It's a good term that you use. The resolution that you have in front of you is the kitchen sink resolution. It allows bond proceeds to be used for any permissible statutory purpose.
So, thank you.
Mr. Crib.
All right, quick question. So you said this is long-term, and I've heard you mention time and time again where the roofs and the generators and
Air conditioned.
air conditioned, right? However, in this thing, and that's why I'm in favor of the workshop as well, simply because in this, as it does encompass the kitchen sink, you mentioned long-term, it's not for automobiles. However, in this thing is automobiles less than 12,000 pounds. So
automobiles would have to be greater than 12,000 pounds.
Okay, well, even worse. So now we're still talking about automobiles. So
Not necessarily, as we run through different options on what are better, at least than borrow the money. So some of those things we've kind of pulled down the list. It's still on the list, but there may be better, more favorable ways to push those kinds of things. But obviously, if you want to build a fire station, it could be one of them. You want to build replace air conditioners, generators, heavy duty stuff that you don't pay for at your house over a year. You push it through the life cycle of your equipment.
And Councilman, that language you're looking at, that's just part of it's a permissible statutory purpose. That's why it's there. As we work through this, as I have in the past with the administration, I typically tend to recommend that equipment, which say, for example, a fire engine would be over 12,000 pounds, and it would qualify for bonds, but I typically recommend that you pursue that through a lease purchase.
okay, yeah. So there's just a lot of questions, and I think I would defer my time over to Councilman Marshall at this time.
Really? Just like that?
Do you want to go next to last, or you want to go now?
With the bus that you just ran me over with.
Just for your motion. Just for your motion.
Got to end discussion first, but.
We're still in discussion.
Still in discussion.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'll wait after you.
Now, all my questions been answered, Mr. Tisdale and Jamie.
Do you have anything?
No.
Do you have some questions?
David's answered.
All right, I have a few questions to clarify.
When I go after you this time?
I think I concur that we should have a workshop, especially since we have 4 new council members, that we need to understand it thoroughly before they pull the trigger, and just because it's millions of dollars, it affects all 7 of our wards, and we should get together as a team collectively to know what we're doing. So I do agree with that, and we still have time. Sometimes in the past we've done these measures, and we were up against, because bond rates were fluctuating, they were real volatile, and time was of the essence to make sure we got the lowest possible interest. It seems like they're a little bit more stable now currently. Is that accurate to say?
Until today.
Until today, of course. Anyway, let me continue, because I do have a few more comments that I want to make on this. So this is the first resolution to get you to go to the
That's
MBA.
correct.
After this, there'll be another resolution that will come behind this.
There will be a bond resolution.
Understood. And it requires for us to review, all 7 councilmen to review that. That's not the only one either. There'll probably be a third one behind that one as well, correct?
The bond resolution would be the last one. But in all that process, as y'all decide, there's nothing legally that says y'all have to have a set project list. You just need to have a general idea of the project list, that it fits the statutory purposes. But that is to say, it's not like you have to have that project list before you do even the bond resolution.
So I'm going to make this general comment, and Paul knows a little bit about this. He's been through some of these bond issues. So what happens, we get an amount, call it $10, $14 million. We have a list as well, and then we start to initiate that. Once we get the bonds issued, and we have it to be able to use over, how many years do we have to spend it?
3 years.
3 years, okay. So we get the money, we have 3 years to make the decisions. Of course, year to year, things can change, priorities can change, but we're making decisions on these monies that are coming through. But every penny has to pass through this council, that the administration makes a recommendation. It doesn't, they can't just say we have 14 million and they don't have discretion to go write a check and go buy something. It requires all those resolutions to purchase or use those funds to come through the council. And I say this because there are some projects that people say, well, we borrowed $10 million and we didn't do what we were supposed to do at that fire station or whatever. And what happens as these expenditure resolutions come through here and we spend the money to improve things, we didn't do, and I'm just using an example, we didn't use that enhancement or that improvement to the fire station. And then we say, well, I want to specifically name it because that project didn't get done last time. Well, it didn't get done because these other ones took a little bit more priority, and prices go up and all that kind of stuff, so that could change the dynamics of it. But I would agree with my colleague that a workshop, that's smart, to call a workshop so we get this thing right and we have an inclusivity of what we are doing because of the far-reaching effects. I yield my time to Mr. Marshall.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Let me start off by saying the fact that this got on the agenda proves my whole point. If we have an opportunity to put something on the agenda, to discuss it, to vote it up and down, or then call for a workshop, but the ordinance is, the resolution is on the agenda. My problem is that what I was suggesting, the resolution that I put forward, because it's denied because of technicality, that's fine. It's not on the agenda. So
Mr. Marshall, that's not what we're discussing. We're discussing this bond.
We're discussing tabling this.
We're discussing item F, please.
We're discussing tabling this.
Okay.
Okay, it's exactly what we're discussing. We're discussing tabling something that's on the agenda. We are on the same track. So we're discussing $14 million, and we got a mayor that's asking for this to do all different types of projects. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I know we got projects that gotta be done. Okay? What I got a problem with is we need to know exactly what they are. We need to know the time frames. We need to have time to discuss it. That's why I'm asking it to be tabled. And the fact that I'm able to ask that to be tabled is because it got on the agenda.
It was put on in a timely fashion, and it made the agenda timeline, and legal reviewed it, and it checked most of the boxes. Would you like to make a motion to table this, or a workshop? What would you like?
Mr. President, I do have a few things.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Shoemaker, but let me let Mr. Marshall finish up first.
Oh, Mr. Shoemaker, go, please.
Mr. Shoemaker.
Don't we now have some outstanding bonds? Do we know the number or the price or the value or what we owe on those?
Yes, I do have that. If you give me 1 second. Pull it back up.
While you're looking for that, I know it may have been a year or so ago, at some point in the past, we discussed 10 million. Recently, it was 13 million. And honestly, I've never seen 14 million until I saw it on the agenda. That's a lot of money. And although I know we need some things, some air conditions, probably generators, and I know right now in the budget that we have now, we're short on money, but we've got to do better in the future because we can't get bonds every time we need to do maintenance upgrades and work, things that probably should be done. If we need a roof, that roof, I'm sure we need it done a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever. All these things didn't go out at one time or need upgrading or fixed at one time. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm not against this, and I know we've got a lot of time between now and when we hear what's on the list of things to get accomplished. But I do think moving forward in the future, we can't rely on a bond to get us out of a jam every time we need something fixed. Because then we're going to be right here, and then next year or the year after, we just asked for, I don't know, $10 million, I think, in the last 2 years. So what do we do in 2 more years? If we spend all this money and we need something else, we don't have any money, so, well, hey, let's just go get another bond. At some point, we have to be fiscally responsible with the money we have and the money we get to fix and repair and do maintenance on the things that need maintenance. If we need to take money and it's going to cost X amount of dollars, then we need to figure, hey, it's going to take us this amount of time and start finding that money or getting that money before we just every time use a bond as a bailout. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry, did you find that?
No, I just was going to say that generally speaking, and I tell this to all of my clients, governmental clients, long-term bonds should be matched to those long-term uses of money. It all depends on where your general fund is at the time. I never recommend spending down your general fund reserves when relatively low-cost financing is available for these things that last forever. You need to keep that powder dry in the general fund. That's where it protects your bond rating.
I think, let me add to, not to pat ourselves, me and you on the back, but the use of our bonds in the past have been, in your opinion, outstanding, do you think?
They have.
And that's the reason, one of the reasons we've done that is to keep our AA minus rating, which no other place, no other municipality has.
It's a very strong
The
rating.
use of that bond, strategic, if you look at what comes off, what goes off, and what we have to spend. I know the roof at the Public Safety Center has been a problem since I become mayor. And never did you have the opportunity to put $2 or $3 million into it. This allows it. We did some strategic things during the pandemic and doing some of the things that we refinanced. You know, the biggest single bill that we pay each year is to the Harrison County Utility Authority, over $1 million a month. We reduced that by $200,000 a month.
Yeah.
By the use of refinancing and those instruments that, you know, Jason and Jane have been advising. It's timely. It's the time to pull the trigger. I don't know what happened today, though, Jason. You tell me. But
well, because of what's going on with Greenland and the Economic Summit in Switzerland, the market was a little bit volatile today. Stock market went down significantly. Bond market went down too, which means interest rates went up.
So anyway, the timeliness of what we use it and how much we use it is going to be up to you. Every single project, y'all will pick.
Sure. We don't have to spend any of it if we don't.
No.
I'd like to hear from Jane Minardi. She's worked with us.
Hey, Jane.
I was just still wondering, that's okay, I was just, do we know, and I'm not putting you on the spot, I apologize, but, so we don't know, I saw somewhere, I thought it was upwards of 40 or maybe 50 million is what we owe now, does that sound correct?
You know, approximately 50 million of general obligation debt, maybe a little bit less, depending on the payments, any payments that have been made recently. But that's the general obligation debt of the city. That's not all of the debt. That's the debt that the city has pledged its taxing power for.
I appreciate that, thank you.
And our capacity would still be up, what, 50 million after this bond? Yeah. Capacity to borrow.
I'd just like to clarify, we currently have 49 million in general obligation bonds outstanding. One of our series of bonds is going to be paid off completely on April 1, 2027. That's the Series 2012 bonds, and we've been paying $500,000 a year in those bonds. So that goes away in April of 27. In November of 27, we have a tax increment bond that we issued, refinancing bond that we issued in 2016. That's been costing us, I think, $2.4 million a year. That will be paid off in November of 27. And so our financial advisors have been telling us that with these new bonds, if you choose to issue them, they can structure them so that the payments will be lower the first couple of years, and then when those other bonds go away, kind of like getting a raise, like when my children got out of college, I felt very rich. There will be more room to pay for them. The $14 million bonds that are being discussed, if we issue it up to that amount, would cost about between $1 million and $1.1 million a year in debt service if we can issue them between 4% and 4.5%, which is what we're hoping for. I don't predict interest rates.
So, and I know you just said it, but just, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So by the end of 27, November of 27, the way it looks, the city would be saving on those bonds that were paid off around $3 million.
Close to that,
okay,
yes.
Great.
A year.
A year, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So you're telling us that right now, the bonds that we're talking about, 14 million, is going to cost the city about how much? The citizens about
1.1.
1.1 million
A year.
per year?
We do 20-year bonds.
If you do 20 years.
We do
So we're
30.
going to encumber the citizens $1.1 million a year to borrow this money.
That's what it will cost, yes.
For how many years?
If we do a 20-year bond,
For $14 million?
correct.
So what would the total payment be?
1.1 times 20 years. 20 million, 21 million.
But you have 3-point-something rolling off by 2027.
Yes.
So we're going to pay
So we're
20
going to be
something.
in the good,
Okay.
net.
So to get 14 million, we're going to spend 21, $22 million. Overtime. Okay. Yeah, but we're not going to be borrowing money to do general repairs and things like that, and we're not investing anything in order to get a higher sales rate, in order to get higher sales income coming in. I have a problem with that. That's the problem. I don't have a problem with borrowing the money, but I have a problem with how we're going to pay for it, how we're going to use any of the funds in order to invest, in order to get a return on anything. When I watch the other cities, they're investing. And this has nothing to do with you. If you want to move, you can move. I don't want you to think I'm talking to you. But we're going to do a workshop, I believe. But I want to be able to discuss in that workshop, Mr. Mayor, what are we going to do in order to see a return? Besides us just getting bills of $1.1 million. So we have areas that we need to build into. Ward 7, we annexed. We need to develop things out there. So yeah, a workshop is going to be necessary, so I'm going to stick with my motion.
Any other discussion? Mr. Marshall, would you like to make a recommendation, suggestion, such as a workshop or something, and table this until then?
We're going to table it pending a workshop.
All right, table it and have a workshop when?
Well, what's a good time? I mean, it's 7 of us.
That's what we're here to vet. Anybody have any?
Carrie?
Do you want it Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Okay, is it out of order to say, since you guys were pushing the workshop, is it going to be too fast to do the workshop on the other agenda item that I couldn't get on the agenda?
We're not discussing that right now. I think how that would work, Peter, is that I think the intent that I heard earlier is to try to get a resolution I'm talking about the other one with splitting up 7 wards, get it on the agenda, table that for a workshop, a work study or whatever you call it, and then we'll kind of treat it just like we're doing this $14 million.
Do that.
I think that's what the intent is.
Or you can put it on.
Which is,
if you're okay with that.
No, I'm actually not okay with that, but.
It's the same thing we're doing with this bond. It's the similar
But the fact
thing,
that the
sir.
bond was on the agenda, that's the point to do that. So what you did was stall me for.
Well, we'll get you on the agenda, just submit it timely and all that kind of stuff, and we'll get it there.
Really?
So let's back up. Your motion is to
Councilman, I think under the ordinance, it would be on the study agenda. It's on the agenda, but it's on the study agenda.
Correct.
But you can move the order of when you want to have that. That study agenda is basically a workshop, and you can move the order of that around.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but on this, next Tuesday, everybody okay with Tuesday morning? Next Tuesday morning.
Okay, let me see.
So let's just be clear. This study agenda, we hadn't done this in 9 years. Okay. And all of a sudden now.
We're still studying.
It's apples to oranges a little bit.
No, right.
I'm good Tuesday morning.
All right, Mr. Tisdale's good with Tuesday. Anybody have a conflict with Tuesday morning?
We need a second.
9 o'clock, okay. With everybody, is that too early? 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
You can Skype in if you want. Ain't out of question. Another idea is Monday afternoon. Which one works better for everybody? Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning?
As long as we're out of here at 5 o'clock on Monday, because Mr. Neal has a ward meeting.
Oh, yeah. Well, if we had a study, we won't have to go to a ward meeting.
Just leave
We
it.
can discuss it.
Just if it,
When's the next council meeting?
All right, Tuesday, we're gonna leave it at Tuesday, 10 o'clock, okay with everybody?
When's the next council meeting?
27th, week from today, 27th. So this would be
next Tuesday, so
that
we have-
day at 10 o'clock. Next
So we have a
Tuesday,
meeting
10 o'clock.
then.
Yep.
So we have the meeting next Tuesday. It's not going to be on the count. It's not going to be on the agenda.
What's that?
So we're going to have a meeting about something that's already on the agenda.
We're tabling it for a week. We're tabling it for a week, and we're setting up the workshop. We're putting on the workshop. If something comes out of that workshop that we need to table this bond thing again, we'll table it again. But that seems to be the reasonable thing to do and prudent thing to do to.
Well, it's reasonable. I'm still trying to get it clear.
I know, but let's stick with this.
Oh,
and
you
then
know why we're having this
talk about
discussion.
the other stuff
Because
later.
if it's reasonable to do it this way for your.
Everybody in agreement with Tuesday?
I need a second on that motion.
Is there a second on the motion to have it Tuesday at 10 o'clock?
Next Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
Table.
second.
What?
To
Table?
Right, to
All right,
table.
all right, let me, council members, let's do this. We're discussing about a workshop. But what's on, Mr. Marshall is, I think, made a motion to table it for 1 week. Do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Creel. Any discussion, Mr. Marshall?
Yes, I'm just going back to the same point. The rules seem to
We're not
to go
discussing
around.
the
Yes,
rules,
we
we're
are.
discussing the motion to table. We're discussing the
We're
motion
going to
to
table
stick with the
something.
subject.
We're going to table something on the same day that some of the items already on the agenda. If it's going to be tabled for Tuesday, then it needs to be on the agenda the next week after.
Well, do you want to table it for 2 weeks instead of 1 week?
I would like to table it for 1 week and put it on the agenda the week afterwards, based on what we come up with. If it's already on the agenda's already typed up and published, then why are we having a study?
If you want to table it for 1 week and put it on the agenda the following week, you want to table it for 2 weeks in essence.
It's tabled for 2 weeks.
All right. Do we have a meeting in 2 weeks or not?
We have one the first night meeting in
What is that?
February.
Now, will that run in with the timeline to turn it in? Because it's going to be on the second week in February.
It's still in.
It would be the
We
first.
still, if we're going to be second week, we're going to still be good.
February.
2 weeks, we'll table it until the Tuesday, February 3rd meeting, which is a night meeting.
Perfect. We still got.
Y'all okay with that? The administration, y'all okay with February 3rd?
If this is the first meeting in February, we have to go forward. I think the meeting
The meeting of the Development Bank is the second Wednesday of February.
So we got plenty of
All right, so
time.
that gives us time.
But
All right.
let me,
Let it finish.
I'm going to restate one more time. Mr. Marshall is recommending that we table it for 2 weeks to February 3rd.
It's not clear if that's enough time for the development bank.
I just wanted to clarify one thing. If and when we adopt the resolution of intent, we have to publish it and see if we get objections and have to have an election. The Development Bank sometimes doesn't want to pass their first resolution until that period has passed, which might push us into March for their first meeting. Sometimes they have made an exception and gone ahead and done it anyway. So I can't promise you we could get induced at their February meeting. We might get pushed back to March, but that's the case if you adopt it today as well.
Everybody okay if it gets pushed back to March so we can look at this thoroughly and understand what we're doing?
Yes.
You're good. All right.
Weeks.
2 weeks. Mr. Tisdale, you seconded it to 2 weeks? I did. Tabling.
Sure, we need a.
Mr. Creel seconded it for 2 weeks?
Okay, no, Jamie did, that's right.
All right.
What
Any other
time?
discussion?
What time? It's a 6 o'clock meeting.
It's 6 o'clock. Y'all want to do it at 4?
3:30, 4 o'clock.
Or is that?
No, the
No, it's two different things. One is
workshop
table.
is still next week.
Yeah, the workshop, we're not getting to
Gotcha.
that yet. Okay.
Okay. Table
All right,
third.
all in favor to table it for 2 weeks, February 3rd? All opposed? Motion carries. And then we will have a workshop next Tuesday at 10 o'clock on Tuesday.
I move that we have a workshop next Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
All
in
right.
order to discuss this bond.
Motion by Mr. Marshall. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Creel. He beat you by a nose. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to make sure that all the things that we're going to be voting on, as far as the expenditures, where it's going to go, I'd like to have a full list of that and a clear understanding so we won't be going back and forth when we come to the meeting, want the meeting to be as productive as possible, so we know exactly where this $14 million or up to $14 million is going. We don't want any widows. We don't want things like possibly using it. No, we want to know exactly what we're doing before we encumber the citizens of Biloxi.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the
All right.
discussion.
Good deal. All right, all in favor of the workshop? Those opposed? Motion carries. Move on to the next item.
Resolution authorizing facility rental agreement with Mississippi Department of Employment Security and approving a waiver of facility rental fees for the Biloxi Civic Center.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Mr. Tisdale,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Shoemaker. Mr. Tisdale?
Yeah,
Tuesday?
no, I got you. I'm in favor of a job fair. It's military and civilian, if I understand correctly. That's all I have.
Mr. Shoemaker?
I agree with you.
Any other discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Unanimous. Next item.
Resolution authorizing facility rental agreement with Gulf Coast Running Club and approving a reduction of facility rental fees for the Point Cadet Pavilion.
Chair, entertain a motion for discussion. I'll make a motion for discussion. I have a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Gray. Doesn't sound like a lot of money, $500. I'm assuming this is 50%? Is this 50% or the complete?
Half a day, it's a couple of hours, not a whole day.
Is this 50% or the complete waiving of the entire amount?
It says reduction. 50%.
I want to clarify, is it a reduction or is it, okay.
Half of the rental fee.
They'll waive half the fee.
Anybody here representing them?
Can somebody come up and tell me what this is for? Yes, sir.
Going to show those things
Leonard Burgunst, Gulf Coast Running Club, nonprofit organization. We assist charities, and we have a rental agreement for 3 times a year for the pavilion, and I think this is a 50% reduction. The fee was $1,000, and because we're nonprofit and it's a charity, they've reduced it. The resolution is reduced $500.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that it was a 50% reduction.
Do y'all charge for y'all's runners to enter?
We break even. We charge $20 per runner. They get T-shirts, awards, refreshments. We have a nonprofit organization, and then any proceeds that are made are given to the charity. For this particular event, it's the Disability Connection, and most of the funds that they raise come through sponsorships, logos on the back of T-shirts, small amount of money for charity, and no money for us.
Okay, how long does this event usually last?
It's a 5K, it lasts an hour. We're there about an hour ahead to set up. The event lasts an hour, about 30 minutes to pick up. By 10:30, we're out.
So all the money goes to y'all donate to a disability this year?
Connection, yes. And then the following month, we have an event with the Hibernia Marching Society. It's a little fundraiser for their parade, and they rent us to facilitate the race for them. And then we have one in November for the Carnival Association, 3 times a year, same course, same pavilions, same agreement.
Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Creel?
So, Chief, if you could, now that you're chief, how much resources do we dedicate to these 3 events a year for his race?
Okay.
So usually on the bridge runs, it's anywhere from 2 to 5 officers, because all we have to do is watch the intersection there, like Margaritaville, Golden Nugget.
We run underneath.
Yeah, it's just setting up things and monitoring it from there on that specific run. I thought he was talking about the Ocean Springs Bridge.
Yeah, so no streets are shut down or?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries 5-2.
One question, do I need to appear for each one of the 3 every year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Things may change. Okay. All right. Next item.
Resolution authorizing facility rental agreement with the Mississippi Sheriff's Association and approving a waiver of facility rental fees and waiver of security deposit for the Point Cadet Pavilion.
Chair, entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Tisdale?
Second.
Second by Creel. Mr. Tisdale?
Nothing more to say.
Mr. Creel?
I believe they can handle the security as well. Thank
Mr. Gray? Nothing. Anyone else? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Let's get to our majestic trees.
Resolution designated majestic tree at 151 St. Charles Avenue.
Chair, entertain a motion for Ward 1.
I'll make it.
Mr. Gray, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Creel, Mr. Gray.
I have nothing.
Mr. Creel.
I'll second his motion.
All right, any other discussion?
Yeah, just a couple of things I want to point out. If the tree committee approves and that designation is also approved by the mayor and the city council, then any permit involving such majestic tree will, at the expense of the applicant, require an ISA certified arborist who should be TRAQ, Tree Risk Assessment Qualified, to perform a determination of risk prior to any permitting involving said majestic tree. The reason I mention that is it's an additional protection that current protected trees do not have. I don't know, I just wanted to point that out so everybody's clear on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale.
Should be pointed out.
Any additional discussion by anyone? All in favor? Those opposed? I'm sorry.
He was just sitting there.
I was just going to say that arborist,
We voted on that already, so you can vote or comment on the next section because we got several of these. But if there is no objection from the council, I would like for us to vote collectively on items L through O. I'm sorry, K through O. All of them are similar. Without objection, I'd like to vote on all of these collectively unless individual conversation needs to be made by anybody on specifics.
I'm okay with that, but if we're going to vote like that, then he needs to go ahead on and speak.
We are. We're going to make a motion to move it, let him speak, and then we're going to vote on it.
I'll make a motion.
All right. Mr. Gray, thank you for the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Creel. Mr. Gray?
No, I have nothing. I mean, they're majestic trees. I mean, everybody needs to, their family grew up many, hundreds of years watching these things grow, so I have nothing else.
Thank you, Mr. Creel.
Nothing further.
Mr. Creel, I wasn't talking to you. Mr. Creel?
all I was going to add is that when someone wants to trim the tree, the ordinance also says that the property owner bears the expense of hiring that certified arborist to do the assessment of the tree. That's all.
Thank you for that, Mr. Creel. Any other discussion by anyone? Any of these specifics? All in favor? Items K through O. Those opposed? Items K through O pass unanimous. We'll move on to item P.
K through O, wait a minute, go back. Did we do J?
We did.
Did we do J?
We did.
We did.
Yeah, okay.
That was the first one we did, and then we did the others collectively.
Resolution granting conditional use approval to authorize an existing duplex as a short-term rentals for 1541 Collins Street, A and B.
Thank you. Chair, entertain a motion for this item related to Ward 1, I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion for discussion.
Motion to discuss by Mr. Gray. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Nail. Go ahead, Mr. Gray.
Mr. Creel, can you come up? On this piece of property, they have a lot of issues with it, I guess, or concerns maybe. This is two separate rooms, right? I guess apartments.
Duplex. It's a duplex.
It's a duplex. So is this duplex considered commercial, since it's a duplex?
No, 1 and 2 family dwellings are considered residential. When you get above duplex, then it becomes commercial.
All right, would it being wanting to become a short-term rental, does this consider it commercial? I mean, because it's in a different category, correct? It's a business.
It falls into what's called visitor accommodations in the LDO. It could be classified as, it's quasi, commercial and residential at the same time, but it's essentially being used as a hotel.
Correct. So when a hotel has a different wiring and different things in that, to make it a hotel than a home, right? Residential?
What we agreed to do on that was that if it were a hotel converting over, or if it were new construction of a multi-family facility, that they would be required to go with the wiring requirements. Otherwise, it would just be the regular Romex. But on a elevated structure, which is what this is, it would have to have a secondary means of egress independent from the main one, meaning basically 2 sets of stairs independent of each other to get out.
And does this have that already on there?
Not yet, but the owner has, that came up, and the owner has agreed to do that if this is approved.
So the footprint is over 65% of the property, correct, square footage on this one?
Yes, sir, but it's still allowed because the density allowance in RM30 is 30 units per acre, and if you do the math on this, they would actually be allowed to do almost 2.5 units. And of course, we always round that down. They are allowed to do 2 units on this piece of property under the LDO.
Correct. And this is, I mean, I just don't agree that we need short-term rentals in all the RM 30s and 20s. I think or 10s. I think we need to try to move them out of there. So I would not be in favor of this being a short-term rental. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gray. Who's second? Mr. Nail. Anyone else have any questions or comments on this? I have a couple. Are there any other short-term rentals on these other RM 30 properties?
We have short-term rentals.
I'm talking about adjacent to this Collins Street, along Collins Street. Are any of these short-term rentals besides the one in question?
Not yet. I think the 2 applications that had come forward were both denied. That was by Pastor George.
All right, let me ask you, is there any opposition from any of these RM 30 properties? I'm not talking about the ones across the street necessarily on Collins Street, but the ones on the side of Collins Street that has RM 30s.
We've not received any that I'm aware of, no.
All right, the parking. Do they meet the parking requirements for the number of beds or dwellings or whatever that's in this short-term rental?
They have room on the property to accommodate the number of bedrooms that they have, yes.
Okay. Any other comments, Mr. Gill, on this?
Just, one of the concerns about this is that the neighbors across the street were fearful that short-term rental might encroach over into that area. But when you cross Collins Street to the north, it's single-family residential where short-term rental is not allowed, and any attempt to change that zoning would have to go before the Planning Commission.
Is there anyone here today that's in opposition to this development? Anyone at the council meeting today that's in opposition?
I've been getting phone calls of people not wanting it.
Okay. Council, y'all have any other questions? If there isn't, I'll call for the question. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Unanimous. All right, next item.
Excuse me, council?
Yep.
Was a motion to?
Deny.
Deny.
Okay.
Motion to deny it?
Next item.
Resolution granting conditional use to authorize a halfway house located at 2793 Fernwood Road.
Chair will entertain a motion in this case regarding Ward 5.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Tisdale. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Mr. Tisdale.
Yes, Chair, thank you for being there already. All right. I looked over and I appreciate everybody coming and speaking today on both sides of the issue. And looking through the Planning Commission meeting, I noticed that you noted there were really 2 designations. One was as a group, not a group home. One was as a halfway house, and the other was as a social services agency. Now, there's also a third classification called a group home. A group home, though, requires support and supervisory personnel, providing room and board to residents with disabilities.
Correct.
That's clearly not the case here, okay? So you're left with an LDO definition of a halfway house or a social service agency. And looking at the social service agencies, you could go either way, I think, based on a general reading of this. However, The social service agency is a facility operated by a nonprofit organization that provides services. So people walking in the street would have access to these services. You or I might have access to these services, but nobody's actually residing on the property. It's a business like any other business.
Correct, yes, sir.
Okay. And then we get to the halfway house, and this is a licensed home for juveniles or adult persons on release for more restrictive custodial confinement or initially placed in lieu of such more restrictive custodial confinement, wherein supervision, rehabilitation, and counseling is provided to assist residents back into society, enabling them to live independently. I've spoken with all the council members up here in previous days, and there's some concern with the language, to be fair, and I think what the operative word here, let me find my spot here, is, for the halfway house, is custodial confinement. And then the question is whoever going to be living at this property, are they in somebody's custody? And I would interpret that, not necessarily, I don't think you have to, it doesn't say anything about incarceration or being incarcerated. I don't know if you're in somebody's custody. In this case, these residents could leave voluntarily, so they're not being restrained against their will. To my knowledge, none are on probation, and I know that is Mr. Aaron still here? So he's here to answer specific questions related to this. But I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, just a thumbs up or a head shake, language concerns some of you. That being the case, Jerry, go ahead and speak, please.
Whenever an application comes in for any type of use, part of my responsibility is to categorize that use into what is clearly the category in the LDO or into the category that's closest to defining whatever is being applied for. When the application was submitted, there is no question in my mind that what they were asking for was a halfway house. And if you read through the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting, what was described there was clearly a halfway house, not a social service agency. Again, a social service agency is an agency where people come from their residence, they live somewhere else, and they come there just to access those facilities. That's not what's being described here. So, you know, the comments that were made that we're not following the ordinance or not following the law are just, that's not true. We are following the law. This was the closest definition to it, and based on what was in the application and what was stated at the meeting, there's no question in my mind that this is a halfway house. I think there was some concerns from some of the neighbors that this was going to be like a homeless shelter where people would just be hanging around. And I don't know if Ms. Dina mentioned this or not, but these people are required to work. They're required to have a job. They don't stay there all day long. They have to get on the bus. They have to go to their job, come back. There are very strict regulations. And with Homes of Grace being involved in this, I'll tell you, we've had a lot of experience working with Homes of Grace on some other code enforcement properties that we had. Most notably is Country Living Mobile Home Park up on 67 that used to be a code enforcement nightmare. And when they took it over, they have cleaned that place up, and we've never had another complaint about it again. So I'm clear that it's a halfway house. I'm not sure that changing the language would be the solution. It's clearly, in my opinion, it's clearly not a social service facility if you look at the definitions that are in there. So
right, but sometimes we have situations where terminology is important. One example I can think of is short-term rentals, and Kenny and I, and it was before your time, David, mercifully, short-term rentals, I mean, we actually approved an ordinance. We were approving short-term rentals before we even had an ordinance on the books. But that's a good example. My suspicion is that years ago, they'd have done the same thing with timeshares, because it's a different kind of animal, if you will, that requires some thought about what you're going to do. I'll leave it right here at the moment, but I'm curious to hear discussion from my colleagues up here.
I got a couple, and then I'll get to you, Jamie. I agree that looks like it's going in an area that it's not necessarily intruding on single-family homes. I seem to agree with that, looking at it. That's one. That could be interpreted different ways. Two, I agree that there's a need for this in our community. It works in a lot of other communities that have a halfway house that helps people make that next step and then to completely attempt to rehabilitate themselves. However, as Paul alluded to, I think there's some verbiage. It's got a little bit of vagueness to some degree with it, and I think his words were this: it could be either, almost, or, depending on how you look at it, almost. One question I have: where would this be allowed by use by right? Commercial or?
Well, even if you went up to the next level, which is what some of the opponents were arguing, that why don't we do a zoning change and go up to what would allow it? The lowest zoning that would allow it is community business, which is the hospitality entertainment.
I just wanted to know where is it?
And it's still a conditional use even in CB.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The problem we have, I think it could be challenged if I disagreed with the verbiage, and it appears that it needs to be a little bit more clarified, not for the purpose of changing the zone to meet a particular need, but ensuring that we were writing our ordinances in a manner that people can interpret them and not say, well, it could go either or. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what Paul's intentions are, but I would like to see it be reworked in some manner before I'm comfortable with it. That's my comments. Mr. Creel.
Just a couple points, not to belabor it at all. First of all, I applaud Home of Grace and what they do. They're a great organization and been around a long time and done a lot of good. So this isn't about their mission at all. It doesn't. It's not to deter them in any means. But reading both, so the halfway house, and I understand they own the halfway house, but the language in halfway house, they won't always own that house, so that conditional use will travel with the property. So in the event something happens and that house changes hands, then it could operate as a halfway house where someone as a convicted felon could be moved in and it could be used in different capacity. The definitions, a licensed home for juveniles and adult persons on release from more restrictive custodial confinement, as opposed to a social service agency, a facility operated by a nonprofit organization for substance abuse counseling, housing services. I think they're more of the latter than they are the halfway house, and just based on that right there, in agreement with the council president, I'm just not comfortable with the language. I would rather us look at the zoning to move it to a zoning that would qualify for what they're actually trying to do, rather than finding something that's close enough to it.
Thank you, Mr. Creel. Any other discussion? Any other
Follow
discussion?
back up with Mr. Tisdale. Did you see an alternative solution, or where were we going?
Well, I'm going to use Jerry's phrase. In my mind, I look at these two, and what's the distinction? One is there's a business where people come and go and they offer services. The other is, such as a halfway house, it's somebody living there, in this case for a specified purpose. But some of you, not all of you, but some of you had issues about the word custody. And I think that's what a custodial, or cleaning up the language, I think that's what I heard from my two colleagues to the left. I'm interested in the rest of you, what comments you might have to make or what your concerns are. Because it may be, I might want to look at clarifying that language.
So do you want a table to clarify, or what do you want to do?
I'd like to hear from the other council members first.
Yes, sir.
I think we need this. I think we need more of these around here. I mean, to help the people that nobody's trying to help. These people out here trying to help these people. See no problem with it at all. I rode by there today. It's a good location, right by DeBees Road. Don't look like there's any houses right around there, maybe some apartments over to the side, but I see no problem with it.
Mr. Dale, one of the things that Mr. Aaron made very clear during their presentation is how strictly these people are vetted before they're even accepted into the program. They do a thorough check on them to make sure that, that we're not getting people in there that are going to create problems there.
And they're putting them to work, too. That's what we need, workers.
And again, I think I stated, I don't dispute the work and the ability and the competence, but we have this ordinance that tomorrow or next month or next year it could be affecting another area in one of our wards that, okay, we interpret it this way and it should be interpreted that way in a similar area in another ward when it may not really fit, but we've set a precedence with the verbiage that we have, and I just think it would be prudent for us to clean that verbiage up.
And again, we're not questioning how they vet their clients or who stays in the house or their program. It's the designation of the zoning and the language.
All right. Anyone else?
Yes. Jerry, how many of these do we have in the city of Biloxi?
This may be the first one that I'm aware of that actually does this. Now, we've got some other locations that are called Oxford houses where people live together as a group, and we really have no regulation over them. We've been through some court cases on those before where we got interpretations that they were allowed. But for this type of operation where you have the resident supervisor living in the establishment with the 4 people that will be in here, I think that this may be the first one that we have.
So we have other, I guess, group homes, I guess, is the Oxford houses?
We do have some group homes, and we do have some places that offer more specialized treatment, like down the road, there's a conditional use that was approved for people to get certain types of medical treatments to go along with it. But this is the first one that I think specializes in what we're talking about today.
Right. So, I mean, we sit up here and we look at the homeless population. We look at how many of them that are on some type of drugs and that need help. And we have somebody sitting here willing to help people. And that, I just can't see where, we're going to deny them when they're trying to help somebody. But we're going to turn around and look at the homeless population all over Biloxi, and we're trying to figure out a way to help them, but we're going to not help somebody trying to help them.
A couple of things, too, I'd like to point out. Number one is that if this went back, let's say somebody suggested get them to change the zoning, it probably would not go through because the property is so small there, it would be considered spot zoning. And those things typically don't go through because, you're putting CB zoning in the middle of neighborhood zoning.
Right.
The thing, too, is that if you look at this property, everything around it is commercial. Everything around it is commercial except for the apartments over on the east side, and there's like a 15-foot wooded buffer between this structure and those apartments face the opposite direction. But as you go down Fernwood, most of the things along Fernwood are commercial. So it's kind of a quasi-operation like we talked about in the middle of commercial uses that are there, and the apartments being the only quasi-residential that's in that area. So
the apartments is how far away from this establishment?
I would say probably 20 feet away facing the other direction. There's a main building there, but there's a wooded buffer between the two where you just about can't see one from the other.
And we don't vet who's living in them apartments?
No, sir.
We have no clue what they're doing?
No involvement.
At least here, this coalition has done so much good for people in Biloxi and throughout the South Mississippi. So, I mean, I just can't deny them when we're going to sit there and look at the homeless population and have them walking around on some type of drugs, but we're going to deny these people. I just can't. I support it 100%.
Could this go into like a building in RM30? If there was a building in RM30, could this qualify for conditional use?
It's not allowed there.
Are there any other condition, you said there's several businesses, are any of those businesses conditional use?
Well, several of them are in Gulfport across the
Not
street.
Gulfport, the ones that are going to be near or next to this proposal, are any of those conditional use?
The one right down the road that was approved.
The Augusta House.
Oh, yes, yes, sir.
It's associated with the South Mississippi Task AIDS Task Force, and it was approved, Kenny, you may, it's like seven or 8 years ago. It's a 7-unit residential area for families, structure for families.
However this goes, I still think that verbiage, we need to look at it. It just, why, if we know that it's a little gray, why would we continue to let it be interpreted by the general public and everything? And it just seems like it needs to be cleaned up a little bit. That's all I have. Anybody else? Mr. Crew?
So the one you mentioned that's down the road, what's it labeled as? It's conditional use. Is it a halfway house?
It's not a halfway house. It's actually a medical type facility.
But so
for you that it's in.
So what is its conditional use designation? Do we know what that is?
I'm going by memory.
Yeah, no. That you've been here longer than I have.
I'm going by memory, but I believe we classified that as a public health center, which is conditional use in NB zoning.
Okay.
And I can verify that for you.
Yeah, so public health, all right, so if you have a neighboring business or a business that is adjacent to a halfway house, do you, in your humble opinion, would that represent the character of the neighborhood, or would it deter the sale or lower the property value of being designated a halfway house? Take Disciple 33, take Home of Grace, take all of that out of it, and it's called a halfway house. So is a halfway house determine less or more than a public health building?
It's kind of apples and oranges in a way. Let me answer that question this way, if you'll.
Latitude,
I'm
sure.
going to be bold. I think that the halfway house fits more into this neighborhood than the social services center does, because if I owned an adjacent business, I would be more concerned about the coming and going of anybody that was out there rather than the people that were actually living on that property, under the strict rules that they have to live under.
And that's the strict rules they have as long as they own the house. The conditional use halfway house stays with that house if something was to happen and the ownership changes hands down the road.
Correct, yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other, we've talked through it a lot. Any other?
On the conditional use, same as everything else. If they do decide to move out, it is permanent, they still have to come in front of the council.
No.
And ask for permission.
Okay. A conditional use transfers with ownership transfer. But remember about conditional uses. If there are any problems that are created and we get neighbor complaints that this is happening or that's happening, which violates the conditions, that can be brought back to the Planning Commission and brought back to the City Council, and that conditional use can be revoked based on that. That's what conditional use is all about. As long as you abide by the rules, you can operate, but if you stop abiding by the rules, we can revoke that permit, so.
Okay.
All right, one more real quick. So, or if it changes hands and the house is not inhabited or used for a year, then that conditional use goes away as well, right?
No.
No, it
runs with the land.
So it runs with the land indefinitely?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so I got one more question. Peter, would this, I don't know, with all the questions and designations and language, would it be a good idea to table this, or, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think tabling will be fine. I'd like to, I wouldn't mind looking at some definitions of custodial confinement, looking at some other cities, seeing how they relate to this to make sure that, just to make sure it's all being done properly, or maybe there could be another area to plug it into, but Jerry, you okay with a week?
Yeah, Mr. President.
Hold on to your motion to table. Do we have any other discussion before we consider a motion to table? Any other discussion?
I don't see no need to table this.
I'm sorry. I think Mr. Marshall said something.
Mr. Marshall, what was that comment?
Let's put it to the vote and can keep on moving.
Okay. Well, Councilman may want to make a motion to table, and just as you did, I'll consider that. Any other comments? Mr. Creel.
Just a motion to table for a week while legal does some research, neighboring cities and language.
Motion to table by Mr. Creel for a week to allow legal to kind of take a look at it and possibly make some recommendations. Is there a second? Is there a second on Mr. Creel's motion?
I'll second.
Sounds reasonable.
Second it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gray. Any discussion? Call for the question. All in favor of tabling it for 1 week? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All opposed?
No. It was unanimous, wasn't it?
It was unanimous? It was unanimous? Okay. It was unanimous. Thank you. We'll move on to the next item.
Resolution granting 2 conditional use approvals to authorize 2 single-family residences as short-term rentals located at 310 Collier Street.
Chair, entertain a motion on this item pertaining to Ward 1.
I'll make a motion.
Moved by Mr. Gray. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Creel. Mr. Gray, you have the floor.
Sorry.
These short-term rentals or the housing is what we're going for, correct? To build 2 housing.
Yes, sir. There's 2 things on here, Mr. Gray, that demand conditional use, require conditional use. The property is zoned NB, and in NB zoning, if you're going to do more than 1 unit, you have to have a conditional use approval to build more than 1 unit. But then on top of that, he's wanting to use those 2 units for short-term rental. So that requires an additional conditional use. So you're voting on 2 conditional use approvals or denials today.
Right, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, neighborhood business, hopefully, we're rezoning on the south side of the tracks for this. I mean, I'll approve this. I mean, hopefully in the future, we can move the CB zoning to the north side of the tracks. And this is part of it, this area, to help East Biloxi grow. That's the only way it's going to grow is if we get people like here, this guy, Mr. Foster, willing to spend his money to build, and I deeply appreciate that. I mean, that's the only way East Biloxi is going to grow is by people like you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Mr. Creel.
Nothing further.
Nothing? Anyone else? Anything on this issue? All right, call for the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Next item is item S.
Resolution adopting the Biloxi Police Department tow manual.
All right. Was this something that we tabled as well? And this is tabled motion by, is this what I have for S?
Yes.
Tabled motion, original motion was made by Mr. Tisdale, and it was seconded by Mr. Creel. Mr. Tisdale.
Right, I think we were looking at some rates or something when we last talked, and Mr. Gray may have something to say more additionally on this. That's why it was tabled, though.
Me and administration has been working in the police department. Chief D-Back and his guys has been working on this too, and we've been staying in close contact. This is just a manual This is no pricing. The pricing still has to come in front of us, and we're probably still two times in coming back in front of us. But this here is just today, is to approve the manual. Rachel, can you come up and explain a little bit? And Rachel has been working hard on this for many years, trying to make this happen, and we appreciate that.
Yes, we've got a process established. The first was to adopt the ordinance. We've done that. Now we'll approve the manual. These gives us the rules. After this, we'll put out an RFP, our responses. We'll come up with what we believe are fair rates based on those and market factors and other factors. Then we will bring a resolution back to the council to establish the rates. Those rates are established. We'll be bringing back agreements with these tow companies where they are actually signing saying that they agree to charge these amounts and to abide by this manual. So it will come back to y'all twice.
Right. And this manual protects the citizens of Biloxi and our guests who come here. That is the whole reason this manual is being restructured, redesigned.
Correct.
It's for our guests and our citizens. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Mr. Creel.
So, quick question, what are the rates currently, or are the rates currently, how is that determined?
Established rates currently.
So it's up to each individual tow company to charge whatever rate they have?
What we're going to do, after we get the RFP and look at the state rates as well, come up with the blended rate, and that's going to be Exhibit A to this tow manual. Then if we have to make tweaks to those rates down the road, we're just changing that exhibit.
Okay, another quick question. So this isn't a restructured of a tow manual, this is you creating a tow manual, correct? Okay, thank you.
Any other comments?
And every other city, every city and county has a structured rate. We're the only one that does not. And I applaud everybody for putting their time and their effort and their input in here. That's how we get things done, by everybody working together. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Gray. Any other comments?
Is there a timeline on the rates? Like, when you put that out, do you have to?
Are they reviewed periodically? Is that
Yeah, like, well, when you're establishing the rates, like, I guess what I'm saying is right now, these tow companies can charge whatever they want. For how long can they continue to do that? I guess I'm just looking.
Until we establish that rate. My
That
gut
agreement.
says probably about 3 months.
3 months?
Put that RFP out, that takes a couple of months.
Okay.
Have to go back and forth, establish, get everything drafted up and presented to. So my gut says about 3 months.
Perfect, thank you.
Before I call for the question, I want to commend Councilman Gray for recognizing that we needed to slow this down a little bit, and not once, but multiple times have asked for us to table this so he could work with the administration in unity and transparency to get this right and this rate right and these procedures right for the good of Biloxi. Thank you for that, Mr. Gray. Call for the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Unanimous. Need a motion on the consent.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Creel, seconded by Mr. Tisdale. Mr. Creel.
Okay, let's see. So, all right, going down the list, so E, Rick, Christie 1. So the seats at the baseball stadium, are these mandated by MLB? Is that why we're doing this? Is this another one of their mandates?
No, these are just destroyed over time. We've got to replace them, and that's part of the contract that we do, replace those seatings on there. That's also going to be supported by that additional monies that came in from the Shuckers.
Okay, and then, so with this, Peter, I guess would this be with the new contract, the new maintenance, or does that not take effect till February? So this will be under the new parameters that you negotiated?
Well, it's an account, yeah, there's an account we have, they're going to fund that account, $75,000 in the middle of next month.
Okay, all right. Let's see here.
Leave something for Tisdale. Don't get them all.
Oh, I got plenty.
I'm going to let that one go. Let's see. So item M, it looks like we're creating a new project for the Point Cadet Marina, but with no funds allocated to it.
This is phase 3 on the marina. It's broken down into 4 different phases. We've already accomplished Phase 1, in the process of Phase 2, and then this is for the Phase 3, in which we're going to be moving into.
But no, we create the project with no money though, right?
6.5 million.
Well, the subsequent resolution transfers 44,000 into it, but
That's where the funding is coming in, is in that subsequent resolution, closing another project. It was here or there, so
okay, so
creates it in the other funds.
okay, so why you're there? So 47,000 will go to Phase 3. However, if you look at N 1056, so was that dredging, sediment removal? So with that 47,000, rather than could we not look at Ancient Oaks dredging and use that for Ancient Oaks dredging, or no?
What that was the planning for dredging. That was Mark Seymour contract that was on there. We finished out that contract, so we're getting started to move it.
So finishing out sediment removal?
The contract that was with Mark Seymour for that.
Okay.
That wasn't a physical dredging project. Had Mark Seymour stuff in there, the planning.
Okay. I guess. Let's see. Item S, we got a completion date of 1/9/26. So is this, I'm assuming this project is still, oh yeah, so the next one increases the time. So item S increases the money, item T increases the time, if I'm correct on these.
I think we got to pay the money so we can get reimbursed.
Also, in item S, it did, yeah, well, please, yeah, in item S, it says it was recommended by E. Michael Leonard. So is this a previous resolution, or is this okay, okay. But I just wanted to see if this was one that is carried forward, if it was a historical resolution, not.
No, sir, this is just one of our standard change orders, or what we call a reconciliation change order, item 5S. That is monies we have already paid out to the contractor, $396,000. We cannot get reimbursed by the state agency MEMA until the council approves this change order, reconciliation change order. Because what that does, it contractually changes the contract amount, as you stated. So we've already paid these monies out to the contractor. This is just means to get the state to reimburse us upon council approval.
Okay, and then item T is just extending the date for the same projects, right?
Yes, sir, and that was due to jack and bore operations down there by Briarfield.
Okay, and so my question on that, does this just extend jack and bore, or does just
Entire program, sir.
the entire program?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then that would be the end date would be February 7th.
For now, but there will be another coming related to the Gateway Drive and Surface Road west of Walmart Lane.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So item W, I don't know if, I'd like to make a motion to table that. In my opinion, I truly don't think we need to dedicate any more funds to the Sanger until we get a management company in place, simply so they can tell us what it is that we need to do next, as opposed to us going into it without the expertise of a management company at the proper time. I don't know if this is the proper time.
Let the mayor respond.
Yeah,
You wanna respond to that?
it's sort of in conjunction with, and doing the checklist, and we actually, some of the people that we're focusing on with regard to management company are working in conjunction with the final punch list and things that happen. So I would encourage your support. The budget is part of, her services are part of our already existing budget. So we're just approving this contractual, you're approving this contractual relationship with her. Hours that she's going to finish this consulting from a interior design and selection process.
So, in my humble opinion, I think it's just another cart before the horse. I think
I respectfully disagree.
Yeah,
Have you all been living and breathing this thing for a while? And it's essential for someone, which I think she's the perfect one, to help finish. And, again, we have a meeting this Friday, and with result of some of the things that she's been working on, and again, what she has worked with us on, to make this thing happen. I encourage you.
And so I'm not doubting her abilities at all. I guess my point is if she's been on point and has been working, an update would have been nice.
Well, again, we engaged her when we ran across some of these problems. And then the finish of this project is what we're trying to keep her on board to finish the things that we need to do to line item, and then hand over to the third party that we're strongly considering to run to the goalpost with.
So
I think it's at $2,500.
Yeah. So the third party.
This would be outside of their realm on there, and Mr. Creel, I definitely would prefer having Ms. Bottier there than for you to allow me to pick out what colors that you want to have on there. This will finalize everything that we need, and we will be working hand in hand once we pass the third party. That hasn't been passed yet, to my knowledge.
No, and that's my humble opinion. We're making we're hiring all these people without the advice of the management company.
This is just finalizing the interior of the facility. This is not anything dealing as far as what the management company side of it. This is just finalizing the interior of that facility.
All right. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Creel. I believe Mr. Tisdale seconded it. You're up.
Yes, on item I, this deals with Motorola Solutions. It's been a long day, gentlemen. Does this replace Code Red or the B Alert? Is that what this does?
Yes.
It does. All right, so I have some, and I understand B Alert has been down for a while, so this would be a new system, and it's a 3-year contract, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and can it be tailored to notify, can it be tailored to different groups? For example, with the database that it's going to be pulling from,
I don't know the specific parameters of that. I don't think so, but I will check and find out.
I mean, the reason I say that is, number one, when code alerts go out, if they go out at the rate of 10 or 12 a day, there's a tendency to ignore them, and they're an aggravation. On the other hand, if it could be tailored either by zip code or by ward or by neighborhood or something like that, then you could be more precise in who gets these, like for water line breaks or roads that are blocked or whatever. And I know these are features that add to the cost usually, not always, usually. But there are products out there that do that. I was wondering, does this product do that? Can anybody answer that question?
It does that, but as you stated, it's an additional fee. What we want to do is get back online currently and get that fixed, and then as we move through there, we'll progress with those additional fees from there.
Okay, I just think that would be terrific. You know,
take a look at that next budget meeting from the city council's budget, and we'll see if we can add that to it, sir.
Let's be sure and get that on the agenda.
I'm all over it.
All right, that takes care of that. Then let's look at, I think, M. So this, the total project of Phase 3, as I recall, the total cost is about $8.5 million. That's the figure I have. And $6.5 million of that was restore funds, and the additional $2 million was to be a local match. And my question is, have we designated where that $2 million is coming from?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Received the grant award. We've only received a notification of it. When we get the grant award, that's when the funds will be.
Okay, so
Project.
all right, so we don't have the $6.5 million yet.
That's correct.
Have we submitted an application for this, and have we been awarded that or no?
Have been awarded. We've received notification that we have received this. They are in the process of preparing the grant agreement.
Okay.
They'll get that to us, I'm assuming sometime soon. I'm not exactly sure. Last time, it took them over a year to get a grant agreement to us.
Okay, so to be clear, we've been notified that we're getting 6.5 million.
It's through the governor, right? Through the governor?
It's through the Restore.
All right, and then at that point, it'll come up and then we'll discuss where the $2 million is coming from, and if we can't come up with $2 million, then we
Can't accept the grant.
can't accept the grant, okay. So what we're asking for, 25 words or less, what are we talking about in Phase 3? Literally, long day, I know, but what are we going to do in Phase 3?
About 1/3 of the.
I know we did floating docks, was that Phase 2?
So, no, Phase 1 was floating docks. Another
Phase
Phase
one.
2 will be another set of floating docks to get you right up to the
Right.
harbor masters, and then the rest of it will be.
Okay, and we've already got the money and everything for Phase 2, so we're looking ahead and trying to keep the momentum rolling, so to speak, and so forth. Christie, so what's in
Correct.
Phase 3? That's,
Additional floating docks, replacing the existing piers with additional floating piers.
We did some dredging too in Phase 1 and Phase.
There's probably some dredging in there. We did some, we usually do dredging in every phase, just because it's just general maintenance.
sure, if we're notified in the next year, would you be looking at $2 million? This $2 million we're trying to find out of this,
Match, not 25, is it?
out of this $14 million?
20%?
I don't think it's a percentage. I think we just committed in the application that we would commit $2 million. It's not an actual percentage.
Okay.
Okay, so we're still talking about a $2 million local match, correct?
At this point.
As far as we know. All right, so when we receive the funding, when we've been notified that we've been awarded the grant, we're looking for $2 million. But right now, I don't know where that $2 million would come from, but we're also talking about a $14 million bond issue. Would this $2 million, well, we'll know that when we have that workshop, won't we? Okay, that takes care of that, thank you. Then that brings me to item P. These are additional legal expenses associated with the Pops Ferry extension. It's roughly 14,000, Peter, a little over that, and what specifically?
That's to allow, so we can put that in for our overall reimbursement for the expansion project. These have already been paid, we're just transferring the line item.
You said overall, say that again.
The acquisition of the Pops Ferry.
It's related to the acquisition of the property?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's see. And that brings me to item Y. This deals with buses, Biloxi Public Schools. Chris, excuse me, Chief? You can probably answer this question. I'm assuming this is coming out of your budget?
Yes, sir.
That's all I need to know. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shoemaker, you have anything on the consent?
Yes, sir, just two quick things, I think. Most of everything was answered, but on W, regarding the Sanger and design, and Mr. Weaver, I did hear what you said. I guess my question is just, it showed $2,500, but it had the word retainer out to the side. And is this $2,500, that's it, or is it $2,500 it may cost us some more?
That's it.
Okay.
500, that's it.
Okay, great, thank you. And
Also working a little on the visitor center as well. That's tied back in.
okay, thank you. And X, and I understand that X is just the casinos signing an agreement, basically, but I'm just not that familiar with that project. What exactly are we doing down there?
This was the Oak Street Pier, which we own, and last year we were in line for Tidelands funding for that to expand the pier and wrap it around and tie it into the Blind Tiger. So they didn't fund any Tideland projects. So it's coming up again, and before we applied, or before they put it in line for Tidelands, DMR said we want approval from, make sure the Grand and Harrah's are okay with it.
That's good. Thank you. That's all I have.
Which one was that, David?
Mr. Neal?
Have anything, I'm just going to say no to Jay.
Okay. Mr. Marshall?
I got a question on that, Peter. How much money, or Rachel, whoever's asking, how much money do we have in Thailand?
We got $1 million asked for this year.
Sir?
About $500,000 for expansion of Coon Street boat ramp and $500,000 for that pier. That's what our ask is at this point.
Okay. So is there any way we can ask to have that money moved to the Porter Street Pier, the Lighthouse Pier? I mean, is there a way?
Not at this point. We received, I believe, I'm sorry, I'm having to quote numbers without them in front of me. I believe it was, what, $400,000 that we got originally?
We spent some
For this,
engineering.
we have a contract against it, that all of those funds are encumbered. We also have, we've asked for additional money coming up, but that has not been awarded yet.
Right. And my thing is, because we need, Coon Street Pier needs to be redone. It's been redone for a while. I know we put new concrete ramp in. We need new piers put in. And we have to build some type of bulkhead to keep the sand from washing up on the ramp. But we have all these projects and not enough money. Maybe we can move the money to one and hopefully.
But we can't move the money because we have a contract against the money.
We have
100% encumbered.
Okay.
Well,
that's what I'm asking if we could.
Okay, on Coon Street, it's tripling the number of ramps. You'll have 3 ramps and additional parking from the east to the west.
Right.
We've got 8, we bid it out thinking we have 885,000.
Of 1.1 million. On Coon Street.
On Coon Street. Well, we need another one, I think it was 1.3 that came about, and we're asking for 500. When we bid it, it's 1.3?
I think that's right.
So that's the 500. So we're committed to doing the project, and we're all in. We just need we expected it last year. And again, again, talking with Spraggins and some other thing, not just Thailand's, we got a couple of angles that could be, we're gonna make that happen. But again, the $500,000 we've already put in place on Oak Street, on that pier, and we're gonna get another half, and we'll do what we want to do. We can't, but.
This is about Oak Street, though, not.
Oak Street and Coon Street together. We're asking for another $1 million from them to be distributed half and half.
Right. And Coon Street definitely needs it. That would stop so many boaters, travelers from being at the small craft harbor, clogging that place up.
Well, and also, I don't know if and maybe we need to walk that site because we expanded and hopeful of what we did not do on the St. Michael's 1 and 2, expanded the ability to put more boats across the street. You know, where it used to be the service drive, putting those 37-foot trailers, there. So on both sides, you'll have additional parking. That's not part of this ask. This is just purely but we have some angles to get that parking from MDOT and some other places.
Right. We definitely need that. And hopefully we can attract more people who want to bring their boats in here. It's not a safe place for storm. To bring them and launch them and come back in their vehicles.
But we're confident we're going to get what we need to do to pull that trigger at this session.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Neal. Anything else? Anything, Mr. Marshall?
Yeah. On item J, I want to try to keep it quick. We're all tired and everything. When Hurricane Katrina hit, we lost our gym. We lost our recreation center. It was pivotal. Matter of fact, Mr. Mayor, you walked through one of the ladies' house, one of the other ladies' houses, and Mr. Tisdale, you also. She was one of the people who did the librarian at our former gym. Since Katrina, every elected official coming out of the East Biloxi area has been trying to work to get another recreation center there. We had a bond that was passed in 2018, $500,000 established project fund for the East Biloxi Recreation Center. $200 and some odd thousand was spent on the plans and the drawings of that. Mayor, you was there, Chief Miller was there, and a whole lot of other city officials went there and broke ground and turned the shovels up, declaring that they're gonna build a recreation center there. My community has been, in East Biloxi has been waiting for that, been fighting for that and trying to get that. To close this out and without establishing at the same time to continuation to the next phase would be an insult to my community, to East Biloxi, and would dash their hopes. They've been very patient. Matter of fact, one of the last things the former councilman, Mr. Gines, did was ask you specifically, Mr. Mayor, to help to continue this. That's how important it was. He knew of all the things that we disagreed on. This is one thing that the whole side of East Biloxi totally agreed on. So I'm going to ask that my fellow councilmen, without me going into any details, being confrontational, just vote no on this. And next week, I'm going to follow all the rules to get established a new project for the funds that are here to be transferred into the new project for the East Biloxi Recreation Center. And we're going to continue to fight forward, move forward in order that we get that rec center over there. Am I asking too much?
Is that your number one priority?
I have two priorities, sir. No, sir, I have two priorities. They're very clear. And every candidate that has ran for office in the area has said those two things. One, we need a grocery store. We gotta have it. We've already been declared a food desert by the United States government. Two, we do need to replace that recreation center that we lost. Those are the two. We can decide which one is first. One, I know we gotta feed the people. We're losing money when we go across their back, but that's another story. Right now, I just want this $44,000 that's in there to be transferred over to, I'm gonna open up, I'd like to produce a resolution for a new project. I'd like to get on the agenda for next week so that the people's hopes will not be dashed. That's all.
Can I speak as
Yes, ma'am.
capital project manager? When we close a project, that does not mean that we can't come back and reopen that project. The closing of the project, however, allows for economy on timing. We hold these projects open. There are many steps. There's a lot of monitoring. There's auditing. There's all of this. So the closing is simply because we were moving the funds over to paving so that we can pave potholes that we keep talking about. There's no reason to create a new project.
Yes, now I just explained it to you why.
We want to leave.
I literally just explained to you why.
Expand the scope of this existing project, if that's what you want, to include construction of this. But doing a second project would do absolutely nothing but force double the work, because we would always have to add the two together to get to where we were.
So let me go back and clear. So you would rather me make a motion in reference to this project to expand this project to include construction?
If what we want to do is to expand the construction and keep this project open and keep this money here instead of moving it for paving, then yes, then we can just simply table this and it stays there. When construction comes, we can expand our project. But to create a second project will just, it will just muddy the books.
So let me be clear. My goal is to not close it because we have to build this building. We have to build this rec center. My goal is to not hurt the morale of the people in the community. So we're going to ask, so you're saying that just to table it?
Well, just table it.
Subject to call.
Yes, and then we still have the project, the funding is still
And
there.
the funding will stay in there?
Okay.
Thank you.
Whatever.
So in reference to that, I'm going for that. So Mr. Glavin, so the goal is to table it, subject to call, leaving the funding there.
You're making a motion?
So is it time to do that, or we wait till the
You
vote?
want to make a motion on this item on the consent to table it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Subject to call?
Subject to call.
All right,
I'll second it.
that's your motion, seconded by Mr. Tisdale. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
hey, I voted for this, I think, when the project was open. This must, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago.
Long time.
And this wasn't the only gym. There were several gyms in East Biloxi, and they were just gone with the wind, literally. So I certainly think that some sort of recreation center is needed in East Biloxi to serve those residents. So I will vote to table. That's why I'm seconding it, but I think it's a project that needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tisdale. Call for the question. All in favor of tabling it, subject to call. All opposed? Motion carries. Any other comments? Anybody miss anything? Change their mind? Or anything? Okay. I'll call for the question on the consent agenda, and then I'll ask for exceptions. All in favor of the consent? All opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Any exceptions? Mr. Gray?
I have none.
Mr. Marshall?
We took care of J, so I'm going to go S, no, T, no, M, no, P, no, and I want to table W.
Okay. We can't table it. We've already passed the consent. This is only exceptions. There's nothing else to table at this time.
Mr. Tisdale, what you?
So, no, just whatever you're taking exception to, say it a little bit more slowly so Carrie can get it down. She didn't catch it all. Go ahead.
You don't want to close the Ward 6 paving. You want to close that down, or the Ward 6, we're closing that account because we're trying to redistribute it, but
whose ward is that?
You keep it there.
Whose ward is that?
Ward 6.
Whose ward is that?
Do you know whose ward it is?
You decide what's on your ward. I just know that.
I'm teasing, but
I just know
I'm
what my people
digressing rapidly. All right, go ahead and state your exception slowly so the clerk can record it.
S, no, T, no, M, no, P, no. Okay, let me double check that. W was for the singer, right? And no for W.
All right, thank you, Mr. Nail.
Just J, no.
Jay's table.
J is tabled, you can't make an exception on that. All right, Mr. Creel.
W.
Mr. Tisdale.
None.
Mr. Shoemaker.
I have none.
I have none. All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll open up our code enforcement hearings. Mr. Jerry Creel.
Item A on the agenda, which is High Thon Tran, 289 3rd Street. This property is still in violation.
Oh, wow. There she is, right there.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone here to speak on behalf of Hython Tran? Come up to the podium. State your name and address for the record, please, and tell us what's on your mind. Tell us what's going on.
Hi, Tan Tran is my brother-in-law, and both of them, my sister and my brother-in-law, passed away in the same year. So it's so sudden, so we didn't have any will in place. So the property right now, we are trying to get the estate to the children. So we have no right to get into the house. So some of the people, like the homeless people, they just go under the need of the property. They just, like make a mess over there. But we are cleaning up. My nephew and my nephew-in-law, they both clean it up. I have video showing that. So we just want the council to know that that property is under our process to.
And what you told us your relationship. What is your name and where do you reside?
My name is Khoi Nguyen, and I'm living in 458 Division Street.
Okay. How long is it going to take you to resolve getting any kind of access or ownership? Do you know?
We are talking to the lawyer right now, and we're in the process, and I have no idea how long, but it will be soon.
Mr. Creel, any remedy to this? I mean, we could do another extension for a little bit, but
You could do an extension. The problem we're having is that the structure needs significant improvement to it, and I can't issue a permit to anybody else unless they can demonstrate site control. That's what she's trying to get now, is to get site control so that they can pull permits, but there's a lot of work that's going to have to be done to this structure, so.
So Jerry, this is one of those estate issues, and
Yes, sir.
it could be cleared up in 2 months or 2 years, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
How long do you say that site control?
I'm sorry?
Site control, how long does that take?
It just depends. I've seen it take years. I've seen it be resolved very quickly. It really just depends on their efforts to get it cleared up.
But generally, if they open an estate, either through a will or no will, intestate, the executor, whoever's appointed executor, would have authority to have site control, so.
They can do a quick
Mr.
claim,
Creel.
something like that.
Mr. Creel,
It's clean right now.
am I understanding that basically, what is the problem with the problem? Is just in bad repair, roof leak? What
Yes,
is
sir.
it?
You can see there on the front, the cornice is gone. Like she said, there's a problem with homeless people. Now, they did clean up the property. There was a lot of junk and trash and everything else underneath it. All of that's gone. But the structure just needs a lot of work.
Are there, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So putting this out to bid for someone to go there and secure the property, put the property where it can give them time, or could we try to do that where the city can go and do that and put that charge on the tax bill?
You could reduce the request. What we got on there now is demolition. If y'all decide to reduce that request down to securing the property, yes, we could do that.
That would be better because we don't need another empty lot. So we can get that 2 weeks secure to the point where we know that they're just buying time.
Yes, sir.
Then I would be for that rather than creating another empty lot in East Biloxi.
Mr. Marshall, will you make that motion to reduce it from the demo to securing the property?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we reduce from demolition to securing the property.
All right, we have a second by Mr. Tisdale. Any additional comments?
No, well, I mean, I'm like, we know it's an eyesore now, so hopefully when they come and secure it, they can fix some of the, secure it. And this goes on pretty quickly. I mean, if we get it tore down, then we may not never get another home built on that lot.
Let me throw my 2 cents in here. I think securing the property is a key thing, both upstairs and downstairs. There's been already several issues for people. It's right by half a block off Oak Street.
Yep.
And there's been a problem with derelict folks and things, and it's just, so we need to, the whole site needs to be secure.
Okay, let's, when you say secure the property downstairs,
People living under it and the trash accumulating under it, and we just had it done 2 days ago where some things were put in the street and the city picked it up. So it needs to be secure where people can't get into it.
any way possible, we can get a declaration, maybe something saying that when, no trespassing, do we have any authority for that?
Well, the police department has that form, that no trespassing letter.
Can she do that?
That's a question. I guess you could give her a site control, probably sign it off on that.
Why couldn't we do that? Why couldn't we put a no trespass sign?
She's the owner,
Okay.
How is the person who's deceased, how are they related to you? Is your brother?
Brother-in-law,
Brother-in-law?
yes.
Is-
And my sister passed away on the June, and my brother-in-law passed in November.
Did they have any children?
They have children, but they scatter around.
Okay.
And one of the child tried to fix that, but they like the problem with other child, because we have to get together somehow to get agreement, like who can own the house after the father passed.
Could you get one of the children to sign a no trespass letter? Are you in contact with them?
One of the girl is the wife of the president of the church, the church there, Mr. Hong Nguyen.
Can you if you could get her email address to Jerry, then we would kind of go from there.
So let me amend it. I'd like to say that we're gonna The motion was to secure the property, also to give them 14 days to get that letter signed for no trespassing. Would that be okay?
What I heard was to the ground floor as well.
In the side,
Right.
vehicles, people living in vehicles alongside in the parking lot. It took months to get that.
Securing the property is two different issues. I want the property secured top and bottom.
My brother-in-law,
What's the car you have?
it's not working.
Yeah. What's going
I
on?
need the property secured top and bottom, but I also need to make sure that we get that letter for no trespassing. That way we don't have to go through this anymore. That will buy you the time that you need. You understand that if you don't get this letter for no trespassing, then I can't keep supporting this. So we're gonna help you, but you have to find your daughter. She has to sign that letter.
So you have to sign some paper, right?
That will give the police authority, catch him out on that property, and arrest him. That's what we have to do.
How can I proceed? Like, I have to go to the, I will take her to the police
You will give Mr. Creel on that.
department?
All right, the chair, go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead. More comments?
I will get the girl, my niece, to come to the police department, right?
All right.
No trespass.
All right, I just want the record note that Mr. Marshall was suggesting an amendment. I don't know if he needs an amendment to the motion. I think you got instructions, but if we need to make the amendment, I'll formally do that. If instructions are enough, we'll let it go with the instructions that we gave on.
Mayor, did I address your issue about the vagrancy?
Yeah, well, I mean, there was cars in there, people living in the cars, and there was people living underneath after the cars. We just need to make sure the property's
secure.
It looks like it should right there, as long as it stays there.
If it's secured,
Yeah.
right. Okay, so it's twofold. Secured in the letter, in the letter. That's what we're looking for. Property.
So who's trying to get the property? You're trying to acquire it for you?
Correct.
Right now, I don't have a room to stay. We really need that house, but we need to fix it. We need the paper to finalize and everything. That's still, if we turn it down, then, it take a long time. Like you said, it take a long time to build another house.
Yeah, we don't need you homeless. So I'm okay. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. We just don't need this to be a drawn out. We want to try to get this taken care of as quick as possible. Because we're trying to revamp the neighborhood, and this is not part of it. So, I don't mind giving you a little time to try to get this taken care of. But we need to keep the property clean, secured. So, even though if they send somebody out there, y'all gonna have to be responsible, going by there to make sure that nobody no homeless people or whatever got in there.
We don't like the homeless people to live there and then make a mess there, but we still can until when
No, not yet.
order to.
No. Great.
I'm good.
All right, any other discussion or questions or? All right, is 14 days we're going to secure it, and any expenses we incur, we're going to tack it on for securing it. Is 14 days enough to complete this process? Yeah. How much time do you recommend? How much? 30 days? Are you okay with that, Mr. Marshall?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
yeah, when you come back,
we're amending that 30 days. You're okay to amend your second to accept the 30 days and
Yes, sir.
instead of 14 days. Okay.
Point.
All right. Is that well enough? Now we got to vote on it. Correct. Got it. All in favor of that? Those opposed? Motion carries. Next item. Quickly, Mr. Creel.
Welch Family Limited Partnership 5, 0 Beach Boulevard.
Okay. Anyone here to speak on behalf of the Welch Family Limited Partnership, 0 Beach Boulevard?
Jerry, you said this was north of Beauview condos? Okay, that's what I thought. All right, thank you.
All right, there being no one, this case is closed.
Yes, sir, we on the process. Steve, 11415.
Thank you.
Violation prior to Councilman Morrison calling in and telling me
Still in violation. Anyone here to speak on behalf of Biloxi Associates LP, 388 Rosalie Maria Drive? Anyone to speak on behalf? There being no one, this case is closed.
Item E, Richard Dowling Estate, 13272 Old Highway 67. This property is still in violation.
14 days didn't do much, did it?
No, well, this is another estate,
Yep.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anyone here to speak on behalf of Richard Dowling Estate, 13272 Old Highway 67?
Is just the grass, is that the only thing, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
There being no one, this case is closed.
Item F, Ellen B. Terrell, 171 St. Francis Street. That case has been resolved.
Very good. Have a motion on the routine.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Creel, seconded by Mr. Tisdale. Mr. Creel?
I need to abstain from the Curry Johnson invoices.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Creel. Mr. Tisdale?
Nothing at this time.
All right, anyone else have any items? Walt, you got anything to let us know on the routine, please?
He waited all day long, didn't bring no pizza.
Yeah, we could have done this on the front end if y'all wish, but that's all right. I understand. Y'all got big things to decide.
You behind the study agenda.
Give me the numbers, let's go.
$828,000 is in the Mississippi PA system right now under step 3 of 5. That's waiting on the GAR, the Governor's Authorized Representative Approval. That's with MEMA. It's been there 4 days as of tonight or today. We should probably have it released into step 4 probably this week, and then that usually takes 10 to 12 calendar days to get into our system. So short of it all, there's $828,000 in the pipeline currently. Anything else to discuss?
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. The chair would like to make a motion to adjourn in the memory of Jack Joachim and wishes family, Liz, John, and all the Joachim family our best wishes.
We'll all second.
All second.
All second it. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.